What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories.
5LF. Chapter 91. Banquet. Newgate's new adopted son, Fisher Tiger. Boom, boom, boom. A roar exploded frantically, and with this deafening roar, the entire battlefield seemed to be churning. Allenby's Roger. Newgate versus Rayleigh. Kaidov's Jabba. Fighting. It has lasted for almost an hour, but this white-hot battle has also come to an end. The six people looked at each other and stopped. That's it. Allen spoke suddenly, the corners of his mouth widened, and he said interestingly, Roger, you are really strong, but this battle is just the beginning, this is not the end. Next, I am more interested in yes. In the future you are what you will be. Ha ha ha, Roger said with a big smile. Then, this battle is reserved for the next time, today. It's over here. Listening to Roger's arrogant words, Allen grinned and said interestingly, if that's the case, then there's no need for nonsense, this battle is over. Ha, ha, Kaido gasped slightly, he was definitely the weakest among all the people, and he was able to insist on fighting against Jabba, except because he was an Phantom Beast and had a different talent, Jabba didn't really make a full shot. Otherwise, this battle has already come to an end. But, according to Allen's character, he chose to stop here, rather than continue with Roger, and directly decide a life and death outcome. This is the strangest thing, of course. This is not a strange thing. Although Allen is a lunatic, but Roger's strength is probably like this, if you really plan to kill Roger. That is almost impossible. The Roger Pirates are very strong, if you continue to drag them down. 870, that is to say, both sides suffer, it doesn't matter. The result of this battle should be placed in the future, and the outcome of this battle should be placed in the future. Allen is really indifferent and calm enough about these. The future is the most interesting, isn't it? Ha ha ha, that's it. 95. B. Roger buttoned his nose casually and said carelessly, you brothers Edward, would you like to have a drink together? I found out that there is a bar on the Fishman Island which is quite good. Yes. 39. No problem. Allen didn't refuse, he just agreed, and Roger said with a smile, then treat it as a banquet. However, you have to give money. Give money. Huh. 35. Allen was stunned for a moment, then refused without hesitation. Impossible, if I let you go, you should give the money. 35. Roger immediately refused. This is absolutely impossible. Laozi will not take money. 35. So, we're going to fight. Come. Who is afraid of whom? The eyes of the two became sharp in an instant, and with the murderous intent bursting out of these terrifying eyes, the auras of the two became extremely terrifying, and they were obviously ready, according to the two people. Character, the battle will continue to begin. Bull Rush. God avoid. 39. In the face of these two people who fight again, everyone as you look at me, I look at you, and they have no idea of participating in it at all. Under night. Gudong. Gudong. Everyone is drinking heavily. As for who paid the money in the end. In fact, the final result is that Neptune spent the money. For this battle, Neptune feels that it is better to stop here. So be it. You guys, just be honest. Not to mention, it's not a big deal, Neptune took care of the money for the banquet, of course. Everything is no problem. No. Everything has been dealt with, and with the result, now the Edward brothers and the Roger Pirates are gathered to drink together. Enjoyed. Allen squinted his eyes comfortably and said, don't say it. The wine from the Fishman Island tastes quite good. Right, right. Roger sat aside and said with a big smile, this fine wine is quite good. So, drink more, after all. This wine is quite expensive. Seriously, in the entire Grand Line, the Fishman Island's fine wine it's all the best. Ha ha ha. Neptune also participated in this banquet. Both parties are powerful characters. Brother Edward will not talk about it. Even the Roger Pirates have such a strong strength, and they can definitely grow in the future. Get up, so say. Befriending is absolutely no problem. For these, Neptune is very clear, and he understands very well that it is absolutely right to make friends. Of course, the banquet is to participate in. Neptune listened to the conversation between the two, and said with a smile, Mr. Allen, this time, I will give you 100 barrels of Dragon Palace wine from the Fishman Island. Ha ha ha, no problem. Allen laughed and nodded. Roger just said unhappily, but I'm really envious. Allen said casually, if you are envious, you can also join the Rocks Pirate. I asked Neptune to give you 100 barrels too. No need. Roger refused without hesitation. I can't possibly join the Rocks Pirate. Neptune just shook his head, he didn't say anything. He's a smart guy, and he knows very well that Allen and Roger might not care, but there are no airtight walls in the world, and if some words are said, then it is very troublesome. Because of this, Neptune chose to back down. No. It should be said that Neptune chose to give up, which is definitely the most important point. It is possible to make good friends with the Roger Pirates, but in the future, what is the current situation? The one who shelters the Fishman Island is Rock's pirate. This is the most important thing. Everything else is meaningless. That's a pity. Alan shrugged and said boringly, what a pity. Your wine is gone. 35. Asshole. Roger gritted his teeth and glared at Alan. Alan laughed mockingly at Roger's appearance. Ha ha ha. It was in such an atmosphere that the banquet gradually came to an end, and it was almost the same. Day 2. The Roger Pirates left the Fishmen Island. They chose to leave. Although they said they wanted to continue playing for 2 more days, they also knew that it would be better to leave here soon. What a good thing, or rather, for the Roger Pirates, since they have met the people of Rock's Pirate, if they continue to stay here, then it is a bit too much to wait for them. Therefore, even if the 3 brothers Alan did not continue to pursue, but chose to leave, which is generally a good thing. Wow. With the departure of the Roger Pirates, Alan ignored them, holding Kajin, who had fallen asleep when he came back yesterday, and asked, Little Rabbit, did you have a good time yesterday? Happy. Guillaume smiled happily and said, I had a great time playing yesterday. Everyone is very kind to me. He tilde operator. Guillaume is very happy, seriously. The mermaids who go shopping with Guillaume are scared to death, for fear of any accident, this one. That's Rock's pirate, the daughter of brother Edward, and it's not Whitebeard's daughter. Everyone above the sea knows that Edward likes to recognize sons and daughters everywhere. This is not a rare thing, but Alan doesn't care about such adopted sons and daughters at all, but chooses Guillaume. What is the meaning? In fact, it is self-evident. If you have 100 adopted sons, although everyone will be afraid, but not particularly afraid, but if you have only 1 adopted son and daughter, then the meaning is completely different, especially a lunatic like Alan. Even Silver Axe, after learning that Alan actually recognized the righteous daughter of Guillaume, refused this matter without hesitation. There was no nonsense at all. Just joking, just like joking. If he really kills Guillaume, according to Alan's madman's character, he is definitely chasing himself to kill himself every day. Even Captain Rocks can't stop him. Although the two said they had hatred, but they were definitely not trying to kill themselves, according to the character of that guy Alan. That would never be merciful, because of this. Or is it better to be honest, if you really provoke this guy? The result is needless to say. Because of this, these things are still here, not to mention. On this sea, even if it is a crazy pirate, except for Kaido, a guy who is really inauthentic, in fact. Pirates have their own rules most of the time. Not bad for the family. This is a bottom line that many people are basically abiding by. The reason is very simple. No one dares to guarantee that they will never lose with these lunatics above the sea. If they really lose the day, their relatives will or all of them dead. This can be regarded as an insurance to stay. If that is the case, then everything naturally does not need to be said. Big brother. 99. When are we leaving? Kaido came over and asked strangely. Alan sat down on the side of the boat and let Guillaume run to play by himself, but he lit a cigarette and smoked, thinking, when are you leaving? Dare to come to the Fishmen Island. Just relax a little bit. It's been a few days. The next time I come to this place, I don't know when it will be. Of course, Kaido has no opinion. The Fishmen Island is indeed a place. If it is a tourist, it is a very good place. As long as no one disturbs the situation, it is also very happy to play. Naturally, everyone is relaxed. 0 at once. Even the Edward brothers and others, in fact sailing on the sea, do not dare to really relax, after all. The sea is too dangerous, no one knows where the enemy came from. Under such circumstances, if you relax your vigilance too much, then the result no longer needs to be said. Therefore, many pirates actually build their own pirate ships, not because of how special these pirate ships are, but because. For pirates, only their own pirate ships are real. You can relax yourself, as for everything else. It's completely meaningless. So say it. It's the little things anyway. It doesn't matter. 35. 35. The brothers chatted casually, and said some words that were not followed by the next sentence. Under such circumstances, the time passed bit by bit. Night falls. What? Alan sighed and asked strangely, are the 2 stinky boys, the second and third, still not back? Bagley shook his head and said, Uncle. Dad and Uncle didn't come back, and Guillaume also ran out to play. However, I asked the brothers to follow, and there was no problem. 55. Alan nodded as well. He was very calm about this situation. These are just small problems. There won't be any problems. After all, there are people who dare to make trouble on the Fishmen Island. It's just like a joke. The Fishmen Island, the so-called trouble-seeking pirates, are actually trying to make a fortune. If you earn it, you will earn it. If you really want to make trouble in front of Rock's Pirates people, they don't have the courage. That's it. To be honest, these guys are just a bunch of rubbish. If they really had such courage, they would not be here long ago. This is completely meaningless. Alan breathed casually. The whole person was very calm, leaning on the reclining chair up, facing the moonlight. He quickly fell asleep. Worth to talk about. In the Fishmen Island, although it is 10,000 meters under the deep sea. But there is still moonlight, and there is still a change of time. And Alan gradually fell asleep under the night. Early next day. Alan rubbed his brows slightly and woke up. Observation hockey swept away, and saw that Kaido and Gion who came back were both asleep, while others came back and some didn't. Of course, the people who didn't come back all drank too much or something happened outside, and nothing happened. Uncle. Bagley looked at Alan who had woken up, then waved his hand and said, "Are you awake? This is the fine wine from the Fishmen Island that Neptune just sent over, exactly 100 barrels. However, the Roger pirates who left, should have also been sent some." Alan nodded and said, "I know. Neptune is a smart man. This guy is very balanced for everyone, he knows the situation of the Fishmen Island, and for a powerful person like the Roger pirates, there's nothing wrong with being friends. But, 5.9 inches, what does this have to do with us? Anyway, it's all about the money." Alan is shrugging his shoulders, he is only a member of Rock's Pirate, and he is not saying that. Rock's Pirate is his own, he just clocks into work, gets paid to do things and is done, and waits for his salary when the day comes. As for other things, it doesn't even matter a dime. What's more, Neptune didn't do anything, didn't he just flirt with the Roger pirates? It's not a big deal. Even if you give Neptune 10 courage, at most, he maintains a good relationship with the Roger pirates. As for really any other ideas, it's like a joke. If Neptune really thinks like this, it is estimated that the whole the Fishmen Island will be destroyed by Rock's Pirate. Stop it. You don't really think that these guys are weak, right? It's just like nonsense. It's impossible. What about this stinky boy? Alan looked around strangely and found that Newgate, the stinky boy, still hadn't come back. Bagley shook his head and said, "Uncle, I don't know either. Dad hasn't come back since yesterday, but..." The life card didn't respond, so Dad must be fine. 35. Quote. Ooh. Before Alan complained, with this heroic laughter, Newgate had already come with a Murloc figure. Newgate laughed and said, "Brother Bagley, come and see, this is the adopted son received by Laozi. It's called Fisher Tiger." Newgate laughed and introduced this young Murloc with red skin, obviously. Newgate, who recognized his son everywhere, didn't let it go on the Fishmen Island. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. First update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 92. 10 years. The 3 Edward brothers. Fisher Tiger. Squinting slightly, Alan looked at the man, thinking about the boy's experience in his heart. Fisher Tiger. Snapper Murlocs. He was born in the Murloc Street, it can be said. Murloc Street is the darkest place. Where is the darkest existence of the Murlocs? They all live in the Murloc Street. Of course, there are more strong people born in the darkness, and there are also many strong people in Fishman Street. Tiger became an adventurer after he became an adult. Because of this, Tiger's status can be said to be extremely high. In the future, the Fishmen Island, if the nominal leader of the entire Ryugu kingdom is Neptune, then the spiritual leader is Otahime, and then the final leader of the Fishmen is Tiger. As an adventurer, Tiger has amazing talent and aptitude, but it's a pity. For some reason, if Tiger really grows up, there is no doubt about it, but a lot has happened in the middle. Besides, ordinary Murlocs have 10 times the physical quality of human beings, but for Tiger, he has 10 times the physical quality of Murlocs. From this, we can see how terrifying Tiger is in all aspects, and in terms of strength, how amazing is it. Alan withdrew his gaze, and looked at Tiger's upload by his follower Newgate interestingly. He didn't expect it. Different from the time in the original book, he landed on the Fishmen Island, and Newgate actually made Tiger his own. Yoshiko. The current Tiger is only 8 years old, so take good care of it. Not to mention anything else, Tiger's talent and aptitude, if he is not an adventurer, he is really cultivated, then he is really admiral level combat power. Uncle Third. 35. Tiger greeted obediently, bowing his head strangely to Alan and Kaido who woke up. Kaido just nodded, looked at Tiger and said seriously, "Very good. Big brother. 35. Kaido and Newgate both looked at Alan, and Alan shrugged. "Boy. Since today, you are the adopted son of the second child. So, you have to change your name, you know." "I know." Tiger nodded seriously and said, "Uncle. Dad guided me when I was confused, and even took me out of the abyss. I want to follow Dad. Always follow Dad." 55. 35. Alan nodded, then said to Bagley, "Oh 6. Go, get the wine cup." "Okay, Uncle." Soon Bagley had already brought the wine cup over. Soon, Tiger drank the wine in the cup in one go, and after both the adopted son's wine and the adopted father's wine had been drank, their identities were already doomed. Fisher Tiger. Do not. Starting today, the name has been changed to Edward Tiger. Tiger will be Edward's second son. This is not a strange thing. Tiger's first adopted son is Bagley, and the other adopted sons. Although they said that they have joined for a long time, but according to their qualifications and strength, they all need to be in the back row, and Tiger is the second adopted son, and this status is normal. Ha ha ha. Watching Tiger drink the Yizzy wine, he laughed and said, "Little brats. There is a banquet, to celebrate Tiger's joining." Oh who. Everyone jumped up and down immediately. Humph. The corners of Alan's mouth twitched, and a smile emerged. Alan, Newgate, Kaido. The three brothers looked at each other, and a smile appeared, and the smile was really strong. See Circle Calendar 1480. Time. It's gone so fast, 10 years have passed since the time of the year. And, to this day, the sea of the whole world can be said to be unusually chaotic, but it can also be said to be very calm. Kill. 35. Kill. 35. Ha ha ha. Kill this guy. Two pirate groups are fighting, they are all fighting madly, and they mean immortality. This is New World. For New World, all pirates are real lunatics, they don't care about others at all everything, for them, their goal is only one, that is to defeat the opponent. That is to kill the opponent. And this is the pirates of the New World. Tick-tock. Tick-tock. With the blood dripping, the battle between the two pirates has come to an end, and the victorious pirate gasped heavily and said excitedly, it's really a piece of garbage. Such strength. Actually want to compete with Laozi for the chance to join the Rocks Pirate. 99. Who? He spat in disdain, his eyes filled with disdain, as if he was joking. Rocks Pirate is growing. Rocks Pirate is the absolute invincible overlord in this world, and no one in the entire New World is an opponent. Even, because of the horror of Rocks Pirate, the 5 branches of Naval Headquarters G1 G5 in New World have been cancelled, that's how scary the Rocks Pirate is. It has reached such a level that it is impossible for people to face it. Marine has rarely entered New World, because they are not opponents of Rocks Pirate at all, and now New World has become the back garden of Rocks Pirate. Pass. But, is the current New World peaceful? Do not. Do not. Rocks Pirate did not restrain the pirates under his command at all, on the contrary. Under the leadership of Rocks, they became even more crazy, just like a group of terrifying monsters. That terrifying power is completely to devour everything. In such a situation, what do you think the result will be? In fact, it is self-evident that Rocks Pirate is too strong. It is so powerful that it makes people feel terrified. Under such circumstances, the pirate group under Rocks Pirate has almost swept the entire New World. The cost of providing shelter, are waiting to be destroyed. And how to join Rocks Pirate? That's the only way. Every other year, Rocks Pirate will start recruiting, if you are successful. Defeat all the opponents, join the Rocks Pirate, and become the affiliated pirate group of Rocks Pirate, then. You can hang on to Rocks Pirate's banner, become a part of its command. Of course, don't think that being a pirate of Rocks Pirate means that everything is no problem, on the contrary. This is just the beginning. Because of these lunatics, these monsters, even for those who are companions, there will be no merciful. Ha, ha, just like the captain at this moment, he passed all the way and defeated 8 pirate groups in total. This is the victory this year and he can become a member of Rocks Pirate. Ha ha ha. At this moment, the captain, who was gasping for breath, let out an excited and heroic laughter, and said excitedly, Great. Great. It's finally a success. Captain, is this position still left to me? Puff. Suddenly, blood spilled, and the captain lowered his head in disbelief, looking at the sharp knife that penetrated his abdomen instantly. The whole person was dazed, he stiffly wanted to turn his head, but he couldn't turn it. Then it was the vice captain he trusted the most, and at this moment, the vice captain he trusted the most actually took his life. The deputy captain said cruelly, I am waiting for this opportunity. Your strength is good, if you use you, then you can join the Rocks Pirate, otherwise. You really thought that I would be so obedient to let you become the captain. Die. Trash. 35. Another slash, without giving the captain a chance to resist, he directly chopped off his head. The deputy captain turned his head and let out a loud laugh of excitement. At this moment, the remaining pirates are all their own deaths. They will never betray themselves. Success. Finally a success. His eyes were filled with crazy firmness, he clenched his fist with one hand, and said fiercely, finally, it's a success. Joining Rocks Pirate, I can have everything I want. It's great. Next, the sea will gradually be incorporated into my palm. Ha ha ha. He was accompanied by crazy laughter, and there was a terrifying light in his eyes, and a killing intent had gradually emerged, but he didn't care too much. He is the only victor. Next, someone will confirm, and by that time, his victor's identity has been determined. Wow, wow. As the pirate ship slowly passed by, this is a pirate ship that you can tell at a glance and has experienced a lot of battles, and the flag of this pirate ship is the flag of Rocks Pirate, but as long as it is truly those who know it are very clear. Who is the owner of this ship? Brother Edward. Edward Allen. A bounty of 4 billion Baileys. Edward Newgate. Bounty 3.9 billion Bailey. Edward Kaido. A bounty of 1.5 billion Baileys. It is the extremely terrifying trio of Rocks Pirate, the Edward brothers. Their strength is terrifying, and their owners have unparalleled power. Under such strength, the 3 Edward brothers spent 10 years on the sea, it can be said to be sweeping. In the whole sea, no one is their opponent. Big brother Bagley. What? After 10 years, Bagley, who is now 22 years old, raised his head, with black hair, tattoos on his face, and tattoos of black tigers on his body, exuding a terrifying breath. With amazing power, Black Tiger. Edward Bagley. Bounty. 390 million Bailey. It is also a famous monster on the sea, but Bagley's bounty is not too high. This is the result of Marine's deliberate control, and it cannot let Brother Edward's power continue to expand. Anyone with a discerning eye can see that although the three Edward brothers belong to the Rocks Pirate, their power has become more and more terrifying. If they continue, the devil knows what the result will be. Tiger. Wake up. Bagley turned his head and smiled at Tiger, who was tall and 5 meters tall, completely different from before. Sunfish. Fisher Tiger. There is no need to say more about the origin of this title. There is a sign on Tiger's chest that looks like a sun. The origin of this symbol. Once on the Fishman Island, people branded such signs. Bounty. 190 million Bailey. It's not that Tiger is weak, on the contrary. 10 years, now 18 years old, under Alan's training, Tiger, like a monster, has amazing strength, just. Again, this is for Edward III. The suppression of the brothers does not make the three Edward brothers too powerful, otherwise it will set off a huge monstrous wave. Tiger walked over step by step and said carelessly, Brother Bagley. I've already woken up. Are we going to see the affiliated pirates who joined Rocks Pirate this year? What? Bagley nodded and said, this is the situation. However, I'm not particularly clear about the specific situation, and it's strange to say it. We are actually responsible for such a thing. The force led by the Edward brothers is the most terrifying force in the entire Rocks Pirate, Akoku. John, knowing that he is not an opponent, is it okay for me to hide away? Really? Just keep this mentality, they stay away. I can't afford it, can't you just stay away? In the future, if the Rocks Pirate disintegrates, wait for Laozi to come and shoot. Anyway, with this idea in mind, Da 870 is very honest. But, Tiger pondered and said, probably can guess what it means. After all, except for us, everyone else seems to be busy, that is, we seem to be more leisurely. 99. Indeed it is. Except for the Edward brothers, the others are basically very busy. It can be said that they are very busy, and under such circumstances, it is their turn naturally, which is not surprising. After all, it is the subsidiary C. The joining of the thieves group, no matter how you say it, requires some characters of sufficient weight, otherwise, it would be too embarrassing. Bagley. 5. Tiger. 55. As the voice of a woman came, the two turned their heads and looked at the long black hair. Although he was only 11 years old, it looked like he was 15 or 16 years old. The delicate beauty mole, although she is still young, she can already tell that this is a standard beauty blank. Edward Guillaume. Different from them being the adopted son of his own father, this is the righteous daughter of the uncle of his own family, and his status is completely different. Moreover, the uncle of his own family is not interested in other people, and he has no other adopted sons. Or a righteous daughter, just such a girl. Do I need to say more about my status? Guillaume. Bagley and Tiger both greeted with a smile. Guillaume smiled and said, have you arrived yet? Bagley shook his head and said, according to the voyage, it should arrive immediately. However, according to the characters of those pirates, it is estimated that there will be no winners this year. Bagley shrugged. He joined Rocks Pirate. Although he is only 22 years old, he is an old man. He knows very well. These affiliated pirates of Rocks Pirate. All of them are like lunatics. Sometimes, in order to compete for this status, even directly fighting to the last person is simply unacceptable to Bagley, Tiger, Guillaume and others. Just as Alan said at the beginning. Your surname is Edward, although you are orphans, but you are also a member of the Edward family. Since they are all relatives, then naturally they will not make a bad hand, so I say. Under such circumstances, if there is a problem, that is the strangest thing. As that's so, Guillaume shook his head, but agreed. That's true, but after today's business is over, Dad said that he would return to the island to find Uncle Neil, saying that the pirate ship was half finished. Now. Really? 35. That's great. Ha ha ha. Bagley and Tiger couldn't help but smile, and the two of them were very excited. Of course, the three Edward brothers were not just wandering outside in the past 10 years. As time gets closer, what should be prepared is also getting ready. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. Second update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 93. Marco, Jose, Bista, Jinbei, Namur, Aruban, Karma. Wow, wow. With the sound of the surging waves, the pirate ship has gradually approached, but what comes into view is a piece of scenery like a sea of corpses and blood. All people are already dead, just like Pakistan, as Gurley said. Cruel. Crazy. Bloody. This scene is all in front of you. You have to admit, this is the most terrifying part of Rocks Pirate. These people. They are not without feelings, just. Their feelings are too thin. When they choose, by the time they joined the Rocks Pirate, their relationship was gone. They made the most terrifying choice. Everyone wants to get this status, and under such circumstances, the result is naturally self-evident. Death is the final result. Shaking his head, Bagley said very calmly. Sure enough, it's almost as I guessed, brothers. Set sail and return to our island. No problem, Big Bagley. Numerous pirates immediately began to turn their bows to prepare to leave. Each of them was fully prepared, while Tiger shook his head and said, "Sure enough. It's been 3 years recently. Rock's Pirates annual subsidiary see there are no thieves alone, and each of these guys wants to get such a position alone, but unfortunately. In the end, nothing is left." Indeed. Listening to Tiger's words, Bagley also nodded and said, "It's almost like Tiger said, almost everyone wants to get this status alone, it's a pity. In the past 3 years, almost all of them have achieved this result. 99. This is the greed of the human heart. Uncle 3. Uncle 3. 3 uncles. Hearing this voice, everyone smiled and said hello. Kaido, who was already 17 years old, was more mature. He was carrying a mace and walked out step by step, with an indifferent look in his eyes, looking at everything in front of him. Said calmly, "These guys are really too greedy. If that's the case, then of course there is a price to pay." Luo. Listening to Kaido's words, everyone nodded earnestly. It is true. Everyone knows the greed of these guys, and greed. Naturally, there is a price to pay, otherwise, if even greed is unscathed, that's the weirdest thing ever. Of course, no matter how you describe it, one thing you have to admit is that Kaido's growth now is not the same as it used to be. Kaido, who is now 17 years old, exudes a more terrifying breath all over his body than in the original book. In the original book, when Kaido was 15 years old, he was invited by Newgate to join the Rock's Pirate as an apprentice pirate, but now. It can be said clearly. The strength contained in Kaido is more terrifying than Aki. After all, when there is no fear at all, then one's own strength will naturally be greatly improved. In the past 10 years, Alan, Newgate, Kaido, Bagley, Tiger, etc. Everyone is exercising frantically. With the blessing of horse charm and divine power, there is no need to hesitate at all. As long as they exercise, they can become stronger without limit. Gu la la la, sons. Dad. Newgate held the cloud cut and strode out of the cabin. Compared with 10 years ago, Newgate, who is now 32 years old, is very mature and stable, and it doesn't seem to be too much. Changes, in terms of purely foreign trade, have no more changes except maturity and stability. But, the breath emanating from Newgate is even more terrifying. If the power contained in the 17-year-old Kaido is like a monster, then the current 32-year-old Newgate is really like it is the power of a monster. Every step of walking out, the horror hockey contained in the whole body makes people feel terrified, every step. It seems that the whole world is torn apart, after 10 years of improvement. Hockey, gymnastics, kendo, fruit, all aspects have been developed and ultimate, and everything has been developed to this extent. Newgate is more powerful than the original work, of course. This seems nothing, but the most terrible thing is, Newgate's current physical quality is also completely beyond the original. There is not the slightest secret injury. It has completely recovered, and this is the most terrifying. For shock fruit capable people, when the body does not have any hidden injuries, how much does the power of shock fruit show? In fact, it is self-evident. It is the difference between heaven and earth. Even bigger. Who? Tilda operator. Taking a deep breath, Tiger asked. Dad, Big Brother Bagley said that our pirate ship is half built, right? What? Newgate nodded and said. I heard it too, Big Brother is right. It has already been built in half, and it has taken 4 years. This is just half of the construction. It is really not easy. Exactly, let's go see. Everyone nodded earnestly, and Alan's voice came out at this time, saying, accurately speaking, it is less than half, although most of the positions have been dealt with, but there is still one very missing. The fundamental core. This core, Neil sent me news a few days ago, which is why I must go back and have a look. Alan walked out of the cabin, compared to 10 years ago. The 32-year-old Alan seems to have no change, still like a young man in his 20s, handsome. Arrogant. Horror. That golden hair, however, her hair cannot feel beautiful, but it is like the gaze of the devil. No matter what, Alan exudes the aura of a strong man, and seems to be telling the world how terrifying Alan's strength is. This monster named Alan, the elder brother of the 3 Edward brothers, in the end what a terrifying monster. Uncle, Dad. Guillaume ran over happily. Alan rubbed Guillaume's little head, and was very gentle, but how can I put it? I always felt that my righteous daughter seemed to be somewhat wrong, and it seemed that she was. But these words are just to think about. Alan did not say much, and said calmly, there are some problems with the position of the keel of our pirate ship. Neil called me Bug. I plan to go look, just right. Look at those little devils, how are they doing recently? It is good, no problem. 35. Everyone nodded seriously, all with smiles. 10 years later, Brother Edward's power is really increasing crazily at a speed visible to the naked eye, and under such power, what will happen next? This is the most interesting thing. Wow. As the waves churned, an isolated island gradually emerged, the pirate ship slowly approached, and everyone stood on the deck, looking at the island in front of them. The corner of Alan's mouth twitched, it appeared and a smile appeared. This isolated island is where Neil is, and he has been here for so many years, guarding all the treasures, and so many little ones. And these little ones are gathered here too. Now, the little ghosts adopted by the Edward brothers, there are almost 700 people in number. Some of these people are orphans who came with Kaido, some are the little ghosts adopted from the Fishman Island, and some are the little ghosts from Rock's Pirate. All in all, there are orphans adopted from various places, including humans, Murlocs and other races. Newgate is open to anyone, as long as you are willing to call Laozi daddy, drank Yizzy wine willingly, and change your name, then you're Laozi's son. That's Newgate's character, and it's always been that way. Goo la la la. Newgate also smiled interestingly and said, I haven't seen those little ghosts for a long time, and I don't know how they are doing now. Alan put his arms around his chest and said casually, a bunch of stinky brats. However, this year, they must have grown up almost. Brother Edward, in the past 10 years, they have adopted a large number of little devils, and these little devils. Of course, it is not to say that they were adopted casually. Alan also chose a little bit. In addition to following Kaido at the beginning, he also followed Bagley. Together, in fact, the qualifications are all good, plus their own tempering, the future will definitely surpass the level of Marine Elite. If you don't even have this level, how can you be a philanthropist? Wow, wow. The pirate ship gradually docked. Alan, Newgate, Kaido, Bagley, Tiger, Gion all disembarked, and the others also walked down after stopping the pirate ship. This island was originally an island, a remote and isolated island, and now there have been built rooms in various places. It is for living and living. Dad, Uncle San. 5. Ha ha ha. At this time, a group of chattering little ghosts ran over. The youngest of these little ghosts were almost 10 years old, and the older ones were 17 or 18 years old. They all ran over excitedly. Very excited. In terms of the total number of people, there are definitely about 600 people, including the people who got off the boat. There are about 700 people in total, in addition. There are a few people. Among these people, they are more noticeable, they are relatively small, the age is relatively small. But they are the real adopted sons. Uncle. A bird crossed, a figure, the figure is very small, he is only 2 or 3 years old, with a pineapple head, just like a small bird. Marco. Bird fruit, phantom beast, phoenix form. He was adopted as an adopted son by Newgate a year ago, and is the third adopted son after Bagley and Tiger, ranking third among all adopted sons. Alan is naturally very for Marco. Attention. It turns out, Marco really deserves such attention. After eating the phoenix fruit, he developed the phoenix fruit quite well at a young age. This is already very good. He definitely has the qualification of admiral. Alan divides these little ghosts adopted by his family into several levels. The first level is the minimum level of Marine 100,000 elites. If you train them, they will definitely surpass the Marine elites, people of their own home. The second level, that is, the captain, cadre, and squad leader level characters, such as Bagley. This level, cultivate well, grow seriously, and the level of Marine Vice Admiral in the future. The third level, that is, needless to say, Marco, Tiger, Gion, at this level, as long as they grow seriously, the proper one is Marine Admiral, and they must have this level. Seriously. In fact, if you take a closer look, you will find that the strength of the Edward brothers is actually quite terrifying. Marco, Tiger, Gion, these 3 little guys have definitely grown up. Under the training of Alan, that is proper Admiral level. This is the 3 Admiral. Alan, Newgate, Kaido and 3 Admiral, this is the level of 6 Marine Admiral, it's just like a monster. But it's not enough, keep getting stronger, that was Alan's ambition. The world's #1 pirate group, becoming the most powerful force in the world, surpassing all power, this is absolutely no joke, Alan has absolute certainty. Backquote who tilde operator. Wei exhaled a thick puff of smoke. Alan looked at the other 2 little guys, Joes and Beasta, who were very young. The 2 little guys were also very good. They were both young, and they were ranked number 4th and 5th. Among the adopted sons of Newgate, it is not according to your age. It is according to the order in which Laozi made you the adopted son of Laozi, because of this. Even if the other party is younger than you must call elder brother. Bagley, Tiger, Marco, Joes, Beasta, these 5 adopted sons, and more. Actually, during these 10 years, Newgate adopted more than just these adopted sons. Marco adopted a year ago, Yoja and Beasta adopted 10 months ago, and 6 when I went to the Fishman Island a month ago. Newgate adopted 4 adopted sons. Jinbei, the 6th adopted son, the whale shark. That Muir, the 7th adopted son, the shark fish. Ilawang, the 8th adopted son, the walrus murloc. Karma, the 9th adopted son, the octopus man. These 4 little guys, in the original book, are one of the 7 warlords of the sea, the captain of the 8th division of the Whitebeard Sea, Qian Zhao's pirate group, and the 2 affiliated pirate groups. No matter what, now they are all adopted sons of Newgate. Dad, Uncle 3rd, 55. Everyone ran over happily, smiling broadly. That was an excited, grinning look. Everyone was very happy. Alan just watched, but a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. I have to admit it. With such a future, These little devils will grow up in the future, and the world's #1 pirate group in the future will be strong enough, of course. This is just the beginning, and many characters in Fate are gradually evolving like Fate. Gathering, when these people all come together, that's the most important thing, isn't it? Ha ha ha. Looking at everyone, Alan laughed and said, okay. It's okay. Calm down for Laozi, you little guys. Have you been training seriously recently? 35. Uncle, of course we have serious training. That's right. That's right. Everyone nodded very seriously, everyone was very serious and determined, just kidding. They were not lazy, and looking at these little guys, Alan's mouth also evoked a smile, and at the same time the horse charmed his divine power was swept away, and all the dark wounds accumulated due to the hell-style training during this period of time were recovered in an instant. This is a very important thing. If there are dark wounds, it will be troublesome as the age increases. And because of this, the dark wounds of their bodies can be completely recovered through the horse charm, which is the most important thing. It can be said, in the past 10 years, in addition to the improvement of his own strength, the most important thing is to adopt these little devils. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. Third update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 94. Make half the world's best pirate ship. After comforting these little devils, they became honest one by one. At this time, Neil walked over with a woman with a big belly, and Neil carefully walked over with someone. Brother Alan. Big brother Newgate. 99. Big brother Kaido. Neil looks a lot older. After all, Neil is just an ordinary person, he does not have any great strength. Under such circumstances, this is very normal, and at this moment, Neil smiled and looked at he is also very happy. Although he is old, his spirit is very good, after all. Although there are some gold and silver treasures and these things that need to be handled by Neil, for Neil, he enjoys life and marrying isn't that enough for the wife you have always loved. And, Neil's wife is also pregnant. If nothing else, the child will be born next year. This is too much joy for Neil, he knows. He has done so much, and the 3 eldest brothers are absolutely they won't abandon themselves, they will let themselves go through this life unharmed, which is enough for Neil, and he is already very happy. Neil, Alan strode over and said with a smile, I didn't expect you to have children. Really? When did it happen? You guy. But really, this kind of thing, didn't even tell us. Alan smiled at Neil. For this 2 or 3 brothers who have been followers since 20 or 30 years ago, they have been very loyal people all the way, and he is also very recognized by himself. It can be said, later, there were 3 Kaido brothers, and it was Neil who had been handling the logistics. Because of this, these little devils, including Marco, Tiger, Bagley, etc., and even Guion, all call Neil uncle. Ha ha ha, just 3 months pregnant, will be born next year, just. Neil seemed to be in a kind of hesitation at this moment, he didn't know what to say, and he seemed to want to say something. Alan said casually, Neil, is there anything I need to keep secret from Laozi? As a big brother, don't Laozi know what you think? I know. Do you want to retire? Big brother. Neil nodded silently and said, brother. I'm already very old, according to my age, although I don't have any injuries, but if I continue like this, I'm no longer suitable to deal with these things, and Neil fell into silence for a while, he was not afraid, but he didn't want his wife and son to be unable to see him one day, although he said, the 3 eldest brothers showed their invincible strength, they are like monsters, but Neil hopes that the 3 eldest brothers will always win like this, but Neil knows that no one can always win. Alan looked at Neil, and a smile appeared. It was not dangerous, but shook his head quietly. Back then, Neil was a gambler, and the gambler himself came to his brother, hoping to follow those who go to sea with their own brothers or willing to follow their 2 brothers. Okay. Alan waved his hand and said, Neil, I know what you think, that's good. After your son is born, if you are willing to follow us, then continue to follow. You also know that the pirate ship that is being built is exactly what kind of thing. At that time, you will retire honestly and it will be over. As for your son, if you want to follow us, if you don't, it doesn't matter. Alan wasn't annoyed at all. Neil had followed his brothers for so many years and now wanted to retire. Want to enjoy a quiet life. That's not surprising. It is good. It is good. Thank you, bro. Neil lowered his head hurriedly, while Alan said casually, okay. You guy, you really are talking so much nonsense, I think it's something. But, it's coming soon, I guess there are more in 4 years, after 4 years, if you want to retire, you will retire. And, there was a sharp light in Alan's eyes, and he wasn't joking with the flag. If Neil had a problem, would he still be alive? It's like a joke. Neil smiled and said, okay. Big brother, of course there is no problem. By the way, this time I asked the 3 big brothers to come back, mainly because of the problem of the pirate ship. Alan asked curiously, what's wrong with the keel? This. Neil shook his head and said, 3 eldest brothers, let's go and have a look. It's probably because I don't quite understand it. Alan didn't have any opinion either, he raised it with one hand, the next moment. The island under him just floated up, and the pirate ship also floated, that's right. The place where Alan built the pirate ship was in the high AGFJ, the position of 10,000 meters in the sky, which is the position of Sky Island. As for why, it's actually very simple. One of the fundamental reasons why Alan let these little guys stay on the sea surface is to give them a sense of crisis. Only in this way can they continue to become stronger, and the construction of the pirate ship, it is still very important, and naturally it must be placed in safety. Sky Island. In fact, it is not just an island, the Kingdom of God is just one of the Sky Island, and Sky Island has a lot of islands, located in the sky, with Alan taking the whole island up into the sky, and soon, an island super giant islands and platforms made of massive clouds have already appeared. Alan was directly transformed through the magical power of the chicken charm. It is too suitable to use it as a platform to build a pirate ship belonging to his brother. Wow, this is in the sky. It's so beautiful. Yes. 35. Bagley, Tiger, Dion, etc. These little guys are here for the first time, 4 years ago. Alan, Newgate, Kaido, Neil recruited a very large group of boaters, craftsmen and designers, teachers, architects, and a large number of workers came here just to build their own pirate ships, and 4 years have passed, only Neil is responsible for these, and now there should be some problems. Otherwise, Alan wasn't going to come back in person. Soon, the island stayed on the edge of the clouds, and Alan said, "You little guys, pay attention to Laozi, don't fall. Today is a holiday, go have a good time." "Yes, uncle, ha ha ha." The happy little guys ran away immediately, and they all ran happily to play. In front of Alan's eyes was a huge island, it should be said to be 2 huge islands, and one of the islands, if you look closely, you will find that this is actually a built pirate ship. In the original, what is the largest pirate ship? Gecko Moria's Thriller Bark. This is a pirate ship belonging to Moria, an island-sized pirate ship. This is Alan's idea. Alan wants to form the world's most powerful pirate ship, then. First of all, the pirate ship will be the largest pirate ship in the world. So, it is to create a pirate ship that is the size of an island, like an island, and this pirate ship. In terms of size, it can accommodate almost 500,000 people, and it is a very luxurious accommodation. In addition, various facilities exist, which is not so much a pirate ship as it is an island. Of course, Alan's idea was just started. In recent years, the Edward brothers have been making money like crazy, and you can give money obediently. Then of course there is no problem, and the materials consumed by the entire pirate ship are from various precious materials. The problems of wood, steel, metal, and even energy can be said to have cost a lot of effort, among them. All the outer hulls are made of the strongest iron tree in the world. Iron tree. As the name suggests, the world's hardest wood, comparable to steel, is completely beyond steel. If the hull is made of such a huge iron tree, even if it is replaced by a shock fruit like Newgate, it will be dozens of times broken. Coupled with other precautions, it can be said that it is absolutely solid and abnormal. And this is only part of it. The whole pirate ship is built, it's so easy there. Ah, you ask where all these materials come from. 5 years ago, Alan brought Newgate, Kaido, and brothers together. Directly took away the 10 countries that North Blue produced iron trees in one breath, and all the iron trees were taken away. Mr. Allen, over here. Quote. This way. 95. The captain of the boatmen came over, wiped the sweat from his forehead, and said helplessly, Mr. Allen, if there is no huge problem, I won't contact you. There is indeed a little problem, which we didn't even think of. Allen waved his hand indifferently and said, don't be too nervous. Just tell me what's going on. After all, it's the first time you've built such a pirate ship, so it's normal to have problems. The boatmaker also shook his head and said helplessly, Mr. Allen, we initially thought that casting steel and other materials would be enough. In this way, the most perfect keel can be created. It's just. The boatman shook his head helplessly and said, I can't do it. Other materials don't have any ductility at all. The keel made in this way can sail, but if there is a huge collision, it will only break directly, so this pirate ship just can't sail perfectly. 9. 39. The 3 brothers Alan, Newgate, and Kaido all nodded, and Kaido asked directly, speak directly. What kind of materials do you need to build the most perfect pirate ship? 35. Treasure tree atom. The boatmaker said very seriously, the whole treasure tree atom, only the whole treasure tree atom, then. It is the most suitable as a keel, as long as there is a treasure tree atom, then. The whole pirate ship can be real perfectly presented, other materials are absolutely adequate. The boatman has absolute confidence, what is missing now is the treasure tree atom, and it's not the kind of fallen branches sold in the black market, that kind. It's basically useless for eggs, the treasure tree that is really needed atom is the whole tree atom. In the legend of Baoshu Adam experienced hundreds of years of war without any damage, and such an effect. It has been proved how good the effect of Baoshu Adam is. And in such a situation under the circumstances, naturally, treasure tree atom is the most suitable as a keel. No problem. 35. Alan nodded directly and said, okay. You need the whole treasure tree atom, right? There is no problem. I remember this, by the way. Do you need anything else? If there is any, I can solve it in one go. The boatman shook his head and said, Mr. Allen, except for the treasure tree Adam, everything else is fine. That's it. Allen also nodded. As long as there is no problem, it is not the lack of something. No matter what is lacking, even if you lack the blood of celestial dragons, Allen can get it back for you, but if there is a lack of technology, there is no way. The boatman smiled and said, Thank you, Mr. Allen. Compared with the three brothers Allen, Newgate, Kaido, etc., the boatman is actually equally excited. It is even said, the boatman is even more excited. Perhaps it is simply incomprehensible, but for the boatman, this is his own. It may be the most perfect boat that can be truly made after working hard all your life. Such a perfect, huge, and precious material, this is simply something that cannot be met. Even if he spends all his life, he will not hesitate. Tell me. Naturally, Allen saw it, and waved his hand casually. If there is something, say it, Laozi said it. For those who do things for Laozi, you only need to say your problems, and if you can solve them, Laozi will give them to you. You solved it. Yes. 99. The boatman said seriously. Mr. Allen, with your strength, you should feel that my life has actually reached its limit, right? Allen looked at the boatman and nodded. You can see. Your life should have reached its limit 4 years ago. That's right. The boatman nodded and said, I am the builder of the most perfect pirate ship, so I insisted on my will and survived, but I know. I also felt it. In fact, I will die soon, and so am I. I can't last any longer. When the construction of the pirate ship is completed, I will also lose my life, just. Allen said casually. Tell me. There is nothing to worry about. As long as I can handle it for you, it will not be a problem. Thank you, Mr. Allen. My son, called Brahmank, is only 4 years old now, and I hope that in the future, he can follow you and wait for the three gentlemen. Brahmank. Allen was a little taken aback when he heard the name, but he didn't expect it. In the original book, the captain of the 6th division of the Whitebeard Pirates turned out to be the son of the shipmaker, but. After knowing this, Allen nodded and said. No problem. That's it. I promise you that your son Brahmank is the 10th adopted son of my second child. It is good. 95. The boatman immediately nodded excitedly. Of course he knew what the 10th adopted son of Newgate meant, even more so. What did this mean? A smile appeared on the corner of his mouth involuntarily. Too happy. For him, when his son was born, his wife had already died. In fact, his life had reached the limit, but he was invited to build such a perfect pirate ship, and his own will insisted on his own life. Now, this perfect pirate ship already has hope for itself. Under such circumstances, the only thing I worry about the most is my son, now. I have already arranged everything for my son, and I have enough for my life. Dream, son, everything has been arranged. The boatman thinks that he is completely enough in this life and does not need anything else at all. With a smile on his face, he is ready for everything. The next 4 years, he will try his best to create, that belongs to himself, the highest masterpiece of his life. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 4th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 95. Adam's Kingdom. Just kill the treasure tree Adam and it's ours. The boatman is gone. But everyone didn't leave immediately. Kaido sat cross-legged on the ground, thinking, Big brother. What's the matter? Treasure tree Adam. And it needs a whole treasure tree Adam. This is not easy to deal with. Indeed. Newgate nodded in agreement and said, that's what Tishu's national strength is, and you don't need to take it seriously. But the strength of the country where Baoshu Adam is located is very terrifying. That's the famous New World superpower. Kaido nodded in agreement with this. Countries. There are several types. The first type is ordinary countries. They cannot join the world government and cannot join the alliance countries. Basically, they are harassed by pirates every day. The second type is allied countries, this need not be said, and the third type is the powerful superpower. These countries are very terrifying in some aspects, money, strength, population, terrifying in some aspects. Just like the giant country of Elbaf, which was once called the largest country in the world. Although it is not a superpower, it is absolutely terrifying enough in terms of strength. This is the power of Elbaf, and the treasure tree Adam can have such a power. The strength of Baoshu Adam's country is also beyond doubt. Adam Kingdom. The famous superpower in New World is also very few. The country that does not pay the protection money to the Rocks pirate, Captain Rocks did not take action against this country, because it is not necessary. This country is very powerful. If you force a shot against this country, it is a meaningless thing at all, and because of this, the Kingdom of Adam has become one of the few countries that still maintains its own power. And now, if you want to get the treasure tree Adam, and it is the whole treasure tree Adam, then you must take action against the entire Adam Kingdom, after all. You can't come to the door and say, I want your treasure tree Adam, it is estimated that they will be thrown out directly as an idiot, or even kill you directly. These are all things you don't need to think about. So, this matter is also quite embarrassing. For such a country, the biggest problem is here. Kaido rubbed his eyebrows slightly and said, brother, how do you think we should deal with it? Just grab it. Or, let's take a look. Have a look. Newgate was stunned for a moment and asked strangely, third, do you have any ideas? Kaido shrugged and said, I mean to see how the other party's strength is. If the other party is very strong, it is stealing stealthily. Anyway, with the ability of the big brother, the other party can't detect anything. If the opponent's strength is not enough. Worororo. Kaido gave a hideous smile. Just kidding. If you're not strong enough. Well, I'm welcome. Isn't he a superpower? For the Edward brothers. What a country. Naval headquarters. Marine branch. Basically all have already passed. Now, there are only two that have not been rushed, that is world government and superpower, and if you are a superpower, if you are not strong. Ha ha ha, then don't blame our brothers for being rude. If you die or not, you're done. Ha ha ha, Alan couldn't help but smile and said, young third, I really have you. It's like something your character can do. Kaido shrugged and said, what's the matter? Big brother, we are pirates. As pirates, is it normal to act like this? Besides, although our three brothers are called lunatics, they are not fools. Ah, if they are strong, we will steal them. If they are weak, we will kill each other. Isn't that the end of the matter? Kaido looks like a bachelor. Yes. 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 We are madmen, but we are not fools. You can't treat our three brothers as fools, can you? We can't do things like fools. Is it a little too much? Newgate thought about it and said, don't say it. It's okay to say the third child. Brother, how do you say it? Do you want to make a wave? Alan stood up and said, of course we have to make a wave. However, ask Neil to learn about the intelligence of Adam's kingdom. After all, it is a superpower, and it is not a big problem for us to know a little bit. 35. Again, the three Edward brothers are lunatics. Most of the time, they don't care about anything at all. Don't tell Laozi who the enemy is. Just tell Laozi where the enemy is. Most of the time, the three brothers have such an attitude. But, these three brothers are really not idiots. No matter how dangerous it is, the three brothers don't care, but I have to study the strength of each other, and I can't rush in. If there are 10 rocks captains on the opposite side, what? It's not called a lunatic, but a dead man. Because of this matter. It's better to study it carefully. Let's go. 99. It is good. After confirming the situation, the three brothers returned to the pirate ship. As for a group of little guys playing on the clouds, if they want to play, just go and play. A group of little devils are considered to be on vacation for 2 days. It is also very important to combine work and rest. Yes, training every day makes people stupid for training. Three brothers. After Neil settled his wife, he came over and asked, what's the matter? Alan asked directly, Neil, do you know the intelligence of Adam Kingdom? What? Neil was stunned for a moment, and then said in astonishment, big brother. Are you planning to attack Adam Kingdom? Alan nodded and said, now, there is indeed such an idea. According to the boatman, the construction of the pirate ship now lacks the keel, and the keel. The best material is the treasure tree atom, with the overall treasure tree atom as the core, to cast the whole keel, so that the pirate ship will be no problem. Neil scratched his head in embarrassment and said, brother, I can only say, this idea is not bad. But it is really very dangerous to implement. In New World, there are 3 powerful countries, one of which is the giant country of Elbaf, although it is said that now it has been divided, but as the world's largest power, it is still not allowed to be underestimated. The second is Wanokuni, who is close to the country. He has special warriors, and it is like an iron wall, and it is impossible to attack. Quote. Neil explained. The third country. This is the kingdom of Adam, and the kingdom of Ada is the richest among the 3 countries, after all. There are 3 precious trees, Adam, within the country, and this is the kingdom of Adam. The 3 treasure tree Adam has brought huge benefits to the whole country, big brother. This matter. It is really impossible to discuss it casually. After all. 39. The fundamental reason for the strength of the Adam Kingdom is that no one knows what the overall strength of the Adam Kingdom is. Alan squinted his eyes slightly, but thoughtfully said, go on and see. How much do you know? I am getting more and more curious now. This Adam Kingdom, on the contrary, looks more like the Elbaf Giant Kingdom. The number 1 country in the New World. Neil thought for a moment and said, so, big brother, actually, there is nothing wrong with that. Adam Kingdom is very strong now, and Elbaf Giant Kingdom has collapsed. The most important thing is Elbaf Giant Village, there is no way. There is no king. A country, no matter what kind of power it has, is meaningless. Indeed. For this statement, Alan agrees, it is undeniable to say that. Yes, a pirate group is also the same, the Whitebeard pirate group in the original book can be seen, with the fall of Newgate. For a while, the entire Whitebeard pirates have completely disintegrated. It does not mean that Marco's strength is not good. If Marco manages the entire Whitebeard pirates, then being a second-rate pirate group or a first-class pirate group is not a problem. Only, it just fell apart. The reason is very simple, That is, Marco is not the leader, except for Newgate, only Ace. Teach is such a person, unfortunately. Ace died, Teach defected, this is the Whitebeard see the root cause of the gang's disintegration. And the Giants. If there is not a king who is recognized by all the Giants will only have huge problems. But, Alan rubbed his chin and pondered, if I remember correctly. Didn't the Giants have already given birth to a prince? I remember what Loki was called. It should be this name. Don't you know? Alan raised his eyebrows when he looked at the people in front of him, as if he felt that something was not right, but everyone shook their heads and said, brother. We really don't know about this. Alan was stunned for a moment, then came to understand, feelings. Loki's news was hidden, that's right. A country like Elbaf giant country. As long as there are no accidents, the world doesn't want to continue to appear, but if you know about Loki the birth of the base, it is estimated. Many people are going to shoot. Of course. These are all hidden. Alan nodded, but he knew what was going on, and he didn't care, and continued. Neil, you continue to talk about the situation of Adam's kingdom. 55. Adam's kingdom. Actually. Neil thought for a while and said, brother. I have actually collected a lot of information over the years, but the information about Adam Kingdom is very rare. All I know is that there are a total of 2 branches and 14 troops in Adam Kingdom. Other than that, everything else is unknown. Oh, Alan came to be interested, and said interestingly, this information is a bit interesting. I am more and more interested now. This Adam Kingdom, it seems, the strength is very terrifying. 99. Neil nodded and said, about 2 years ago, I got a very mysterious piece of information. It is said that the internal hierarchy of the kingdom of Adam is very strict, starting from ordinary people, even saying, when a person is born, he will inherit his father's name, just like a perfect country. Death, birth again and again. 0. Ask for flowers. Listening to Neil's words, the 3 brothers' mouths unanimously evoked a smile. Obviously, Neil described a part of the strength of the kingdom of Adam, and it has already made people know that the strength of the kingdom of Adam is definitely not weak. But for these 3 brothers, they not only have no fear, on the contrary. The 3 brothers are even more excited now. The corners of Alan's mouth twitched, and he said interestingly, it's interesting. It's interesting. Second child, third child, what do you think? Goo la la la. Newgate laughed and said, no matter what, big brother. This time, we will take action against the kingdom of Adam, treasure tree Adam. We will definitely get it, which is the foundation of our future building of pirate ships. 39. That's right. Kaido's mouth widened, and he said savagely, let's talk about it. Instead of thinking about it so much, it's better to kill Adam Kingdom directly. In this way, the treasure tree Adam is ours, it's really not good. We snatch one straight away, and in the future, when the kingdom of Adam is killed, we will snatch the remaining 2 as well. At that time, we will go out and sell it ourselves. And, Kaido shook his head directly and said, we will also be useful in the future. Bagley and Tiger, these 2 little devils have their own ambitions, and they both want to form their own pirate group, in that case. Their future the pirate ship also needs the treasure tree Adam to build. Newgate also agreed with this. Anyway. Big brother, Baoshu Adam is very useful to us, no matter what, Baoshu Adam, we must get it. Newgate, Kaido, these 2 brothers look like bachelors anyway, this thing. Our brothers must be useful, if so, then we must get it. Actually, Bagley, Tiger, including Jinbei, in fact, they all have their own ambitions, and they all want to set up their own pirate ships to create their own scenery, not to betray the 3 Edward brothers. Rather, they want to prove that they are qualified people, and they will never say that the elders who have left their own family are like garbage characters. Under such circumstances, the 3 brothers Alan, Newgate and Kaido are of course agreed. According to the research of the 3 brothers, they left and formed their own pirate group. They are all their own sons, nephews, and nieces. In the future, they will also be affiliated pirate groups of their brothers. This will never change. Moreover, what are the 3 brothers doing to build such a big pirate ship? In fact, it is self-evident. The 3 brothers just want to accommodate all the cubs. In the future, these cubs, if they want to sail on the sea, they will sail and come back. This is the home of the cubs. This is what everyone thinks. No doubt it is. Alan rubbed his chin slightly and thought, okay. It's pointless to think about so many things, by the way. Neil, do you know what kind of strong Adam Kingdom is? Neil saw that the 3 eldest brothers had already been determined, and he did not continue to stop them. He also knew that the 3 eldest brothers had such personalities, and certain things could not be changed. Neil nodded and said, big brother. Adam Kingdom there are 14 troops. Going up there are 14 generals, and 2 admiral troops. On the top, except that the king of Adam's kingdom is called Adam, everything else is not particularly clear. Neil shook his head, not knowing about the rest, and continued, the reason is very simple. For so many years, Adam Kingdom has never left any survivors in the fight against any forces or people, precisely because of in this way, no one knows what kind of strength Adam Kingdom has. Listening to Neil's words, the three brothers nodded thoughtfully. Indeed. Whether it is from the description or from all aspects, it is obvious. The Kingdom of Adam is an extremely powerful country. This is definitely not a joke. Neil continued. 3 eldest brothers, that's about all I know. No matter what it is, you must be careful, it is impossible to fight with Adam Kingdom. For the entire ocean, except for world government, Rock's pirate powers like naval headquarters, Adam Kingdom, can definitely be ranked in the top 5. 99. Alan also nodded and said, don't worry. I'm not such an idiot. I like everyone, but I don't like to die. Neil, gather the information and give it to me. Okay, big brother. Neil nodded and stood up to deal with it, while the 3 brothers were thinking about something. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 5th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 96. Alan, what to do? Of course I'm here to say hi. Roar. The roaring blue dragon galloped across the clouds in an instant, and it was Kaido's figure, while Alan and Newgate were sitting on top of Kaido's head, sitting cross-legged. The goal of the 3 brothers was the Kingdom of Adam. Kaido whispered. Big brother. Second brother. Is it just the 3 of us to go? Alan nodded and said. It's enough for the 3 of us, for those little guys. Adam Kingdom. It's still too powerful now. Seriously, the information compiled from Neil is actually felt. The overall strength of Adam Kingdom is really terrifying. Have to admit it. Alan squinted his eyes and looked at the information in his hand. He would never have imagined that the Kingdom of Adam would be so terrifying. Adam Kingdom. As one of the very ancient countries in this world, being able to be crowned as a superpower has already proved how powerful the Kingdom of Adam is. Besides, the situation of Kingdom of Adam is very special. There are 3 treasure trees Adam in the Adam Kingdom, and each tree Adam brings huge wealth to the Adam Kingdom. In addition to that, the population of the Adam Kingdom is not large, only about 3 million people. Left and right, this is actually a very sparse population in such a rich, powerful country. Looking at Alabasta, there are 600,000 permanent troops in this country. What is this concept? In fact, no more words are needed. In addition, the very special point of the Adam Kingdom is that the people of the Adam Kingdom are inherited of. For example, your father is A. When your father dies, it doesn't matter what you used to be called, your name will be changed to A, and the same is true for your son, and the future will be A, and so on. Again, this is what happened in Adam's kingdom. At the same time, the Kingdom of Adam has 14 troops. Going up, there are 14 generals, and there are 2 admiral armies above. As for whether there is anything else up there. Because of this, the overall strength of the Adam Kingdom is very terrifying, and the ability to fight against people is a situation of destruction, and as time goes by, the Adam Kingdom has not been shot for a long time. But no matter what it is, it proves one point. The overall strength of the Adam Kingdom is absolutely terrifying enough, and the king of the Adam Kingdom is called Adam, the original name. It doesn't matter. This is not important to the entire Adam Kingdom. The rules are like this: when you become a king, then your name will be changed to Adam. It can be said, everything in the past is completely dissipated, and everything in the past has nothing to do with you. Big brother. Newgate pondered and said, if this time, we will use the name of the Rock's pirate ship. It is estimated that according to the character of Captain Rocks, I am afraid we will be torn apart. Ooh, talking. Newgate laughed sarcastically. Rock's pirate in the New World, there are only 3 countries that do not charge protection fees: Elbaf Giant Country, Adam Kingdom, Wano Kuni. Only these 3 countries. As long as you are not idiots, you all know what's going on. Therefore, many pirates, as members of the Rock's pirate group, do some crazy things in the name of Rock's pirate, but this time can't do it, if it's true Zoller, Captain Rocks, but there will be no mercy. Alan said casually. Don't make trouble. We can't do it in the name of Captain Rocks. Impossible. That would be too embarrassing. Search. The blue dragon incarnated by Kaido galloped away into the distance, and the 3 brothers were already planning to see what the strength of the so-called incomparably powerful superpower in the world really was. Adam Kingdom. There are a lot of ships coming and going, after all. Adam Kingdom is a famous big country in the New World. In addition, there is a very precious treasure tree Adam. Although it is said that Adam Kingdom sells the natural shedding treasure tree Adam twigs. But the problem is, as long as you are not a fool, looking at the treasure tree Adam that is thousands of meters high and looks like a hill, you will know how precious this treasure is. The branches of the treasure tree Adam fall down every year. Adam Kingdom basically only goes out to a part. For Adam Kingdom, they don't care much about such things at all. The main reason is that people are really not short of money. Since they are not short of money, they can just sell them. If not, treasures like Master alone can easily cause problems in the whole world, and the Kingdom of Adam does not need to sell. People are really not short of money. And all along, there are naturally many people who are looking for trouble in the Kingdom of Adam, but it is a pity. As time goes by, when there is no living room, it is natural. The people who are looking for trouble are getting fewer and fewer, even saying, it's almost gone. Today, the troublemaker reappeared. In the sky, a sinuous dragon appeared. It was Kaido incarnated in the form of a blue dragon. His eyes flashed with red vertical pupils, exuding terror. The breath of, that terrifying breath, seems to be swallowing everything up. Big brother. How? Kaido looked up at the Atom Kingdom below, and the corners of his mouth grinned. Although there are so many things to consider, but, for the three Edward brothers, they are three lunatics. Many times, they think about things instead. Won't care at all. Goo la la la. Newgate stood up, holding Kong Yunchi in his hand, and said hideously, brother. Do you want to do it directly? Ha ha ha. How? Come to say hello, of course. Alan also stood up, put his hands in his pockets, and laughed savagely. The same madness and terror appeared in his eyes. Those eyes were not human at all, but the same as Kaido at this moment. That is like a dragon-like pupil. His eyes burst out with a terrifying aura. Alan slowly floated up, also looked down at the situation below, his mouth widened, and said interestingly, I am more interested in it. Is the strong man of Atom Kingdom already? Know of our arrival? Who knows, even if you know what it will be like. Worororo. Big brother. 35. Do you want to do it? Bring it on. The three brothers looked at each other, and invariably a terrifying light emerged. Let me see what the strength of Atom's kingdom is. 99. The Devil of Fire. Breathe. Shocked. Alan, Newgate, Kaido, the three brothers shot at the same time. The power of the three people showed at the same time. Kaido spit out endless flames. The terrifying flames seemed to devour everything, and Newgate fell with a punch. In an instant, the sky is broken, and the power of this punch will destroy everything. More than that. Followed by, a monstrous flame emerged at the same time. It was Alan's power, and the endless heat wave accompanied everything that was churning, and it fell down like this. The three brothers would like to see what the strength of Atom Kingdom is. The power that covered the sky and the earth enveloped the entire Atom Kingdom. For a while, everyone raised their heads blankly, as if they didn't know what happened. Start. The monstrous flames and the power of the shock that destroyed everything seemed to destroy the entire Atom Kingdom, but the next moment, one after another figure rushed out at the same time, and they forcibly blocked this amazing offensive with extremely strong power. Boom. The roar of the sky resounded, and everything seemed to have returned to calm. The people of the entire Atom Kingdom just glanced at it a little, and then withdrew their eyes. For them, all this is meaningless at all. Or, they don't care about these things at all. What happened? It's like a robot. No. It shouldn't be called a robot, but it should be like an ascetic who has given up his emotions and desires. They don't have any feelings and just walk on quietly. And this scene, people will not have any praise, but will make people feel fear. It is too terrifying, when a person loses all emotions and desires. Then it is the most bizarre thing. Search. Next moment, a figure suddenly soared into the sky, and this figure had pure white wings, just like an angel in legend. This figure was dressed in pure white clothes, with long golden hair and pure white hair. The winged figure, he wears a golden crown, and the figure has instantly appeared in the sky. Human fruit, you demons, angel form. Alan narrowed his eyes slightly, and said secretly, a top-notch devil fruit that is comparable to the Qinglong fruit. 99. I see. Is this the power of Atom's kingdom? Kaido spoke in an interesting manner. Newgate shook his head and said, I think this should only be a part of the show, it can't be all the power, I just don't know. What is the strength of the other party? Kaido and Newgate were both careless, staring at the people galloping in front of them. Brush. This figure stopped his movements, his expression was calm, and his eyes sparkled with calm eyes. This was the figure of a teenager who seemed to be in his teens, but the aura emanating from his body was more than from Alan, Newgate. Do not. His breath is more powerful than Newgate's, but it is the same breath as Alan's. Under such breath, it has been proved that this person is definitely a real terrifying monster. The three Edward brothers, he said slowly. You came to the kingdom of Atom, what is your identity? Or, is it the Rock's pirate's identity? Atom is calm enough, even full of endless indifference, but in the face of this indifference, the three Edward brothers unanimously showed a terrifying smile. Alan said interestingly, the three of us, of course, represent the identities of the three of us. But, I am curious about your identity. Are you the king of Atom Kingdom, Atom? Yes. Atom nodded calmly and said indifferently, I am the king of Atom's kingdom, the same. What is your purpose? There was a funny smile on the corner of his mouth. Alan didn't say any nonsense at all. Instead, 3 shock waves burst out in an instant. Dragon Blast. Electric Eye Burst. It wasn't for small talk. This is not a deal. It is impossible for others to sell the treasure tree Atom to himself, in that case. I want to see how this guy's strength is. 3 terrifying shock waves fell instantly, and the wings on Atom's back trembled slightly, and a large number of white feathers slipped down, forming a shield directly in front of him, blocking all the attacks, but also blocking Alan's offensive. Ha ha ha. Interesting. 99. Alan squinted at Atom and said interestingly, you bastard. Very interesting, or rather, all of you people in Atom Kingdom are interesting. Name. Edward Allen. Template. Demon of Fire Holy Lord, 70%. Magic. The magic of fire. 12 charms. Bull charm, tiger charm, rabbit charm, dragon charm, snake charm, horse charm, sheep charm, chicken charm, pig charm. Ghost mask. Inactive. 8 demons. Not activated. 9 ghosts general. Inactive. Hockey. Conqueror's hockey premium, armament hockey premium, observation hockey premium. After 10 years, Alan's strength has been terribly improved again, not only in the attribute panel. Although, in these 10 years, only 1 tiger charm was activated. But, this tiger talisman is very terrifying for Alan's strength improvement. The divine power of the 12 talismans and the magic power of the fire magic energy, when these come together, are not stable, but will appear. Collision. Alan used these divine powers and magic powers, all of which he used with great perseverance. But, after mastering the tiger spell, then everything is different. The power of yin and yang balance makes my perfect master wear 12 spells, but because of this, I am the place where I feel the problem, and the entire Adam kingdom is very weird, weird enough to make people feel weird. Interesting. Interesting. Adam looked at Adam in front of him and the kingdom of Adam interestingly, and said interestingly, your country. It's very interesting, although I don't know what kind of secrets are hidden, but I am more and more interested in the kingdom of Adam. Interested. 39. The divine power of the sheep 5.9 charm gradually emerged, paired with his terrifying observation hockey. He had swept the entire Adam kingdom in an instant, but when he really swept the Adam kingdom, he realized that the entire Adam kingdom was really a huge problem. This problem, it's not the outward appearance, but the saying. It's the internal problem. Alan narrowed his eyes and said interestingly, this is the power of the soul. Devil fruit of the soul type. Ha ha ha, really interesting. Interesting. Alan looked at Adam with interest. What he knew, but he didn't hide anything. Instead, he said interestingly, the power of the devil fruit of the soul. It's hidden in the entire Adam kingdom, no. In other words, the entire Adam kingdom what's inside. But it's really interesting. Adam, aren't you going to talk about it? 66.99. Adam's expression is still full of calm, but his face is a very rare flash of emotion. It is terrifying killing intent, and coldly said, you should die. Brother Edward, you know what you shouldn't know. In that case, death will fall on you. Ha ha ha, Alan said excitedly. It's getting more and more interesting. Don't you want people to know about the power of the devil fruit hidden in the depths of Adam's kingdom? Yes. Come and kill Laozi. Laozi won't say it. Second child. Third child. This country is really very interesting. Ha ha ha. Goo la la la. Worororo. The 3 Edward brothers were laughing wildly. They made a heroic laugh. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 6th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 97. Kaido. Siege. You little trash. You are incompetent. Boom. Boom. Wow. 35. A mouthful of blood spit out. Adam's strength is very strong, and he is a top-level phantom beast demon fruit power, but unfortunately, although his strength is strong, he is far worse than the 3 Edward brothers. No kidding. Newgate and Kaido were just having fun, and Alan beat Adam into that. Cough cough cough. He coughed slightly, but wisps of white light flickered, and Adam's injury recovered at a speed visible to the naked eye. He murmured. It's really a terrifying force. Brother Edward, Devil, Edward Allen, really terrifying power. You are like a terrifying monster, and the power radiating from this sea is the most frightening. Wiping the bloodline at the corner of his mouth a little, Adam's injury has recovered. This is the terrible thing about the angel fruit. The most special thing about the angel fruit is not the many abilities of the master, but the power of light, and this is the most special part of the angel fruit. The power of this part can be perfectly displayed, then. This power is very terrifying. But, Adam's expression was calm, and he said lightly, Brother Edward, you know what you shouldn't know, then. Just stay here forever. Brush, brush. Following Adam's voice, one after another silhouettes rose into the sky in an instant. They had completely surrounded the 3 Edward brothers in all directions. The 7 figures on the left had pure white wings, and the 7 figures on the right had jet black winged figure. 6,695. 14 of them, wearing white medieval knight armor on one side and jet black medieval knight armor on the other. Just like 14 gorgeous knights, the thick knight helmets blocked everything, and nothing could be seen. Can feel only the endless cold and killing intent. And under such terrifying power, what will happen next? This is the most terrifying thing. For a while, everything seems to fall into silence. Newgate looked around and thought a little. Big brother. The situation is not right. Are they all angel fruit? Fart. Alan complained directly. Their wings are connected by the day after tomorrow, to put it bluntly. They are transformed people, and they have been transformed by scientific means. Moreover, their souls have been transformed, and they have no human beings at all. Feelings, all there is loyalty and what is added to it. But, Alan looked down at the Adam kingdom below, then raised his head and said interestingly, Adam, it is really getting more and more interesting. I really think it is very interesting, the whole Adam kingdom, no wonder. What is it called New World? The most powerful country, your country is really very interesting. Isn't this a country transformed by soul-like abilities? Adam did not answer Alan's words, but said indifferently, something. The moment you know, all you need to pay is the price of your life, to deal with the 3 Edward brothers and leave no one behind. Yes. As the indifferent voice sounded, the 14 knights had already launched an attack, 7 white and 7 black, holding a sharp blade in their hands, and a terrifying light flashed in their eyes, the next moment. The person has turned into an afterimage instantly disappeared in place, and under such a terrifying speed, what emerged was amazing power. Crackling. Kaido's figure instantly turned into a human beast form, stepping on the flame cloud, directly blocking the attack of the 14 knights, but under the powerful offensive, Kaido's body was directly cut open wounds. Say a digression. Don't think that Kaido can only use the flame cloud in the form of a blue dragon. This is the person with the ability of the blue dragon fruit. Kaido can use it anytime, anywhere, even in the form of a beast, or even in the form of a human. Look at the Onishima War. Kaido directly created a large number of flame clouds with his own strength, and then whether it was a human form, a human beast form or a blue dragon form, until he lost consciousness, the flame cloud is not that. Did it just dissipate? That's why. This thing. It's Kaido's ability, and of course human form is not a problem. Correct. Now Newgate is floating in the air, and is also relying on the flame cloud. The flame cloud created by Kaido is actually a good thing, and it can form an aerial battle. Although it is not a problem to rely on the supernatural power of the eldest brother's chicken charm, but in that case, the control is always the eldest brother, not himself, and there is a problem with the strength he exerts. F***K. You guys actually besieged. It's really shameless. 35. Kaido looked at the shameless 14 knights and scolded directly, is this the spirit of chivalry? You guys, can you point your face? Even if it's a pirate. The 3 brothers are not besieged. You guys, really shameless. Alan and Newgate were stunned when they saw this scene. They really didn't expect that Kaido opened his mouth and sprayed people like this. It's almost like a spray. The corners of Newgate's mouth twitched, and he complained. The 3rd child, what's your situation? 39. Kaido was stunned for a moment, and then said directly, 2nd brother, I have always dreamed of being besieged by people recently. This scene happened today, I just feel very uncomfortable. Alan blinked, and always felt that something was not right, but how do you say it? Kaido was really besieged by people, don't say this. It's really not wrong. When Kaido was in the Onishima battle, it was really because he was besieged from the beginning to the end, and finally encountered a bug, and was defeated by people in a situation where the seeds exploded one after another. In this case, do you say Kaido is ashamed to lose? It is a shame. But do you want to say that Kaido is very shameful? In fact, you can't say that. Kaido is not a very shameful thing. Anyway, that's the thing, and there's no need to say more. Alan shrugged and said casually, 3rd, pay attention. Just try to see what the strength of these knights is, I also think it's quite interesting. No problem. Big brother. Kaido carried the mace, stepped on the flame cloud under his feet, and said hideously, come on. A bunch of rubbish, let me see your strength. Brush. Brush. There is no nonsense at all, these knights have already rushed up, 14 knights, 7 white knights. 7 black knights. They have launched an attack, holding huge swords, and the cooperation is too tacit. As if they had already guessed it all. The perfect cooperation actually suppressed Kaido directly, but it can also be seen from this that the strength of these 14 generals is actually the same thing. In the case of Rock's pirate, it is a weaker captain level. Strength. Newgate rubbed his chin and thought, brother. These are the 14 generals of Adam Kingdom, right? That's all the strength. Feeling. That's probably the case. 14 generals are weaker. The rank of the captain of the attached pirate ship, even the 2 admiral troops are probably the rank of cadre. 5. Newgate really thought that was the case. Alan shrugged and said, otherwise. How strong do you think Adam Kingdom can be? All 14 generals are admiral level. Isn't that nonsense? If that's the case, Laozi thinks, the kingdom of Adam can begin to conquer the world. 9. Listening to his eldest brother's complaints, Newgate nodded too, don't say it. That's true, if you really have such a powerful force, then you can start conquering the world directly. These are simply irrelevant things. But, Alan rubbed his chin and said casually, no matter what it is. It doesn't matter anyway, hey, this guy called Adam, if you can't continue to show some strength. Victory in this battle is our brothers. The corners of his mouth grinned, Alan didn't take the initiative to attack, not for any other reason. It was. I know that some people are still here with the peeps, and these people are still very strong, not only that. The strength of Adam Kingdom is very strong. Is this the strength that a country should have? And, from the beginning to the end, the entire kingdom of Adam is revealed from the bottom of my heart. There is a huge problem, the problem of this country. It is definitely not as simple as it seems, even to say. Alan did not enter the kingdom of Adam from beginning to end. The reason is simple, my own instinct is telling myself that it is very dangerous. It is very dangerous. If I casually step into the kingdom of Adam, I will die. This is also why, Alan has always been the fundamental reason for not setting foot in Adam's kingdom, death. This is not the result he wanted. As for Alan's situation, Adam said very calmly, your instinct, very keen, seems to sense the danger coming. 99. Ha ha ha. Alan laughed casually and said, I did notice it. It's a very terrifying danger, and the entire Adam kingdom is really terrifying. That terrifying feeling is no worse than that of Captain Rock's. I didn't think so. 99. 39. Bump. Newgate and Kaido were both stunned. Although Kaido was slashed 7 or 8 times in a row and flew out, he was still shocked. Brother. Do you feel wrong? Impossible. Alan shook his head and said, my instinct tells me that the hidden danger of Adam's kingdom is no worse than that of Captain Rock's, and this is the real reason why Adam's kingdom is so dangerous. Listening to Alan's words, the Newgate and Kaido brothers never imagined that this would be the case. But, afterwards, Alan said sharply, but this Adam kingdom is not the same. This country is not so much a country, but a whole feeling. Under my observation hockey, I can't see any deeper hierarchical stuff, but I can sense that there is something wrong with the soul of the whole country, so say. It's just too dangerous to step into it. Search. At this moment, 2 afterimages emerged. They have 3 pairs of wings respectively. In the wings, armor, knight sword. In all aspects, they are more gorgeous, one black and one white. They are obviously from Adam Kingdom. The Admiral army is gone. Adam said calmly, Edward Allen. You know too much, you know things you shouldn't know, and there is no way to live on this sea. Then, just stay here forever. With Adam's indifferent voice, Alan laughed arrogantly. Ha ha ha, with your power. Exactly. 35. I would like to see what the root of Adam's kingdom is, and whether that guy will come out on his own initiative. 35. Search. Licking the corner of his mouth slightly, Alan's eyes flashed with a terrifying and crazy smile, just kidding. Since he's already standing here, then, of course, we have to take a good look at it all. How could it end like this? Squinting slightly, Alan's eyes became sharp at the next moment, and the whole person seemed to be an afterimage, and disappeared without a trace in an instant. Roar. Dragon fist. This punch burst out, and Alan turned into a roaring fire dragon and directly enveloped Adam in it. Kongyan cut air shock cut. 35. Thunder 8 trigrams. Newgate and Kaido are also facing their opponents at the same time, although they say. This time the opponents are very strange, even giving people a weird feeling. But, it doesn't matter, they Edward 3 brothers, all this is insignificant. 877 crackling. The battle ended in an instant, and Adam, who faced Alan, didn't say anything from the beginning to the end. Adam is very clear, Alan is very strong, this man is very terrifying, just relying on his own strength, not an opponent. There is a clear gap in the strength of the 3 Edward brothers. Alan is stronger than Newgate. Newgate is stronger than Kaido. And what about Adam? It's about the same level as Newgate. Although this gap seems to be only a little bit. But compared to Alan, who can perfectly exert his divine power and magic power, he has a horse spell injury that is almost useless. Strength. Under such circumstances. How much do you think Alan's original strength of 100 can be used? Among the strong, the strength displayed is completely different. The strong can use 100 strength to 120, or even 150 strength. But, the weak can only exert 70 or even 50 strength. This is the strong and the weak. It is also a Gatling. Do you think the strong and the weak feel exactly the same? So, this is the fundamental reason, but other than that, everything else has many problems, but as long as you understand a little, you can see it. Because of this, Adam is completely under siege at this moment. In the state. Crackling. With the terrifying power of Alan, Adam seems to gradually have only defensive power. Ha ha ha, Alan said frantically. It's really interesting. Interesting. I think it's very interesting. Come on Adam, let me see your strength. Yes. If you think you are not an opponent, you can find that old guy. Let me see what that old guy is like. Ha ha ha. Alan's madness has reached a terrifying level, and such terrifying madness has completely suppressed Adam for a while. The battle in the midair of Adam's kingdom has become more and more intense. For this battle, the people who originally did business in the kingdom of Adam have already discovered it, and they have naturally seen what it is. It's human instinct. It's like the situation in front of you. Although I don't know what's going on, what's wrong with watching the fun? Is there a problem with watching the fun? Just kidding. We just want to watch the fun and see what's going on. As more and more people find out about this situation, they are all spectators of this battle, the war between the 3 Edward brothers and the kingdom of Adam. Edward Allen. Adam's eyes were sharp, and he, a person who was so indifferent to no emotion, had the murderous intention to kill for the first time. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. First update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 98. That's it for today. The treasure tree Adam is uprooted. Boom. Boom. The roar resounded wildly, and with a sound, blood suddenly spilled into the sky. Stab it. The wings had been torn off, and it was the wings of a white knight that had been pulled down, Kaido let out a ferocious and crazy laughter, and said frantically, "It's really interesting. Is that kind of strength? Ah, take it out. Take out your strength. Don't let Laozi look down on you." Worororo. With this crazy laughter and this crazy roar, Kaido's eyes can be said to be flickering with terrifying light. Thunder 8 trigrams. The terrifying mace smashed down again, as if it was going to devour everything, in an instant. That burst of power made the entire sea shatter, as if it were going to shatter. Too scary. Boom. With the roar of the sea, the terrifying power seems to be swallowing everything up. Tick-tock. Tick-tock. A drop of blood dripped. 14 knights under Kaido's hands, 7 have been beheaded, and now there are only 7 left, and other than that. The 2 great knights who fought against Newgate, now there is only 1 person left. Same. On this battlefield, even Adam has a lot of scars on his body at this moment. Ha, ha. Adam gasped slightly, and he looked around the entire battlefield. His originally unsightly complexion became even more ugly. His emotions were relatively indifferent, but this does not mean that Adam's character is like this. Everything is really very uncomfortable. These people, no matter what happened, they were all cultivated by the entire Adam kingdom, and now they have lost so much. Whew. Alan spit out a mouthful of blood. His expression was very calm, but he looked at Adam sharply, the corners of his mouth twitched, and said interestingly, "It's interesting. I have to admit it. Adam, your strength is not bad, but looks like today is the end of it." With one hand open, monstrous flames emerged from the palm of Alan's palm. With the divine power of the 12 spells being mastered by him, especially the divine power of the tiger charm was mastered by himself, now. Alan's strength is indeed more and more terrifying. Especially for the control of the fire magic energy, it has reached an extremely amazing level. Whether you admit it or not, you must admit that, now that Master Alan has the tiger charm, all the magic power is exerted. The power has become more and more terrifying. Alan suddenly stopped, as if he felt something, the corners of his mouth grinned, and he whispered, "Threat. It's really a terrifying threat. It's a pity, I'm not afraid of this kind of threat. Yes, today, I'm going to kill this rubbish." Dragon Fist. This punch from top to bottom directly hit Adam, and it has already fallen. The power that Alan burst out is extremely terrifying. Is the dragon roaring past? Alan's punch suddenly brushed past Adam's figure, leaving a very clear scar on Adam's face, but in the end, everything seems to have returned to calm, and this scene, it's the most interesting. Woo, here. He let out a sigh of relief. Alan looked at Adam, the corners of his mouth grinned, and he patted his face with one hand, and said, "It's really good. Someone made you survive, then. Goodbye, little brat. Today that's it." Alan said, and a punch directly knocked Adam out, it turned out. Adam is really not Alan's opponent, it is undeniable. Adam has a strength comparable to Newgate. If this power is really complete when it is exerted, with the terrifying resilience of the Eudemons, there will be almost no problems. Even if Alan can defeat Adam, it is impossible to defeat Adam so easily in a short period of time, but unfortunately, it turns out that here, everything is not so easy. In other words, although Adam's strength is strong, but with this terrifying strength, how much can it really play out? This is actually an interesting thing. Adam's strength, even 50%, or even 30% of his strength cannot be used, from the beginning to the end, is purely pressed and beaten. It is not a level of battle, and because of this, Adam will be so weak. Bah. Looking at Adam who flew out, Alan said casually, "Second, third, deal with the rest, we should go, this is the end of today. By the way, what we want is already got it." Goo la la la. Newgate smashed the remaining tattered jet black admiral army with a punch, and said disdainfully, "So the matter has already been dealt with." Kaido proudly waved his mace and smashed them all out, saying casually, "It seems that the strength of the opponent is just like that." 5. Okay. This matter does not need to be discussed. Alan waved his hand very casually and said, "Wait until we leave, but before that." Alan opened one hand and set his eyes on the kingdom of Adam. Under everyone's attention, Adam, a precious tree, suddenly began to shake violently. The tree Adam rose into the sky, and in an instant, the precious tree Adam had disappeared without a trace, and the 3 Edward brothers had also disappeared without a trace. For a while, as if nothing had happened, everything had returned to silence, but the incomparable deep pit left behind by the disappearance of the treasure tree Adam was displayed in front of everyone's eyes, as if telling everyone what happened in the past time. Gudong. This is big news. The 3 Edward brothers took a precious tree Adam. Crazy. Crazy. Are the 3 Edward brothers so terrifying? F***K. And those who watched all this from beginning to end widened their eyes in disbelief. They knew the power of Adam's kingdom, but they never thought that the 3 Edward brothers, the pirates who were not in their eyes, would be able to so terrifying. Their invincible power has taken away Adam, a precious tree in the kingdom of Adam, with their own strength. For a while, some people have already appeared greedy, but these people will pay the price of their own greed, Adam Kingdom. Not everyone is qualified to provoke. The 3 Edward brothers have this qualification because they have this kind of power does not mean that other people also have such power. Totally worthless garbage. Adam Kingdom. This country, the whole is black and white, Half black and half white, looks very strange, just like two countries, the division is very clear, making people feel very strange. Cough cough cough. Adam coughed slightly, and he walked step by step towards the center of Adam's kingdom. Everything in Adam Kingdom is black and white. And the only thing that is black and white is in the center of Adam Kingdom. Here is the tower of the royal palace. Same. Adam stepped into the tower of the king, and he disappeared step by step, but what he went to was not the apex of the tower that represented the king's identity, but gradually went underground, and he didn't know it. How many meters is this underground? And a room emerges in front of you. Exclamation mark. As the door was pushed open, a figure with most of his body soaked in the nutrient solution appeared. He had long snow-white hair, and although his appearance was old, if you looked closely, you would find that this person he has an almost exactly the same appearance as Adam, but his body is too old, as if it has reached a limit. He can only survive in this way. In addition to this, he can't survive in any other way. His body has lost its activity. It must be kept alive in this way, otherwise. As long as lost activity, then he also came to the end of his life. Owner. Adam kneeled on one knee respectfully, without any emotion in his eyes, just like an empty robot, everything imitated in the daytime is false, and he has no emotion. Good. Adam has no feelings. Adam is a fake robot, he has no feelings, just through imitation, people think that Adam has feelings, in fact. Entire. Some words still do not need to be said. Adam kneeled on one knee respectfully, and said in a cold voice, Master, everything has been dealt with according to your order, and the lost nights and great nights have been supplemented. The old man spoke in a slow voice, his words seemed to have reached the limit, even if every word, he had already reached the limit, he said in a light voice. There is no need to investigate the matter of Baoshu Adam. That man has discovered the old man's secret, and that's why. If this matter is investigated, if the man spreads the old man's secret, it will be troublesome. Yes. 35. Adam bowed his head respectfully, then slowly withdrew, his figure disappeared little by little, and as Adam disappeared, the old man whispered, Edward Allen. Pirates with soul power are really interesting, but you are a person who keeps your promises. Now that the transaction has ended, I believe that you will not make such a broken promise. That's right. He is the real controller of the entire Adam Kingdom, or rather. What he wants to do is to resurrect himself, so that he can truly survive, although he relied on his devil fruit to barely keep himself alive. But now he's just a waste, this is something he can't accept, but the same. Not many people know his identity on this sea, Rox is one, and now Alan is the second, these two people will not say it out. Because of this, the old man can continue to live, because if his news spreads, the world government will never allow him to live, but will directly kill him. Therefore, he made a deal with Alan with a treasure tree Adam. As for the result of the deal, in fact, it's already like this, the treasure tree Adam gave you, and I don't say anything about me. As for whether Alan will keep his promise, Alan believe. Snapped, snapped. With the sound of footsteps, a tall, perfect woman with long blonde hair in a long white dress walked out. She walked over quickly and said softly, Husband, are you okay? Hee hee. The old man chuckled weakly, and said in a low voice, Eve, I have nothing to do with the old man, the affairs of Adam's kingdom, it seems that I will trouble you, the time of my resurrection still needs to continue to delay, a short period of time. There is no real resurrection. Eve said softly, Husband, what are you talking about? These are all small things, you can take it slow and deal with it, so many years have passed, I believe there must be anything. 99. The old man nodded slowly, while Eve served the old man tenderly. They were husband and wife. In the past, Eve was half dead like the old man, but the devil fruit that Eve ate was very special. She could keep herself alive. The old man couldn't do it. The devil fruit eaten by Eve could only be useful to himself, and it was meaningless to others. So, for a long time, in order to make her husband survive, Eve worked hard, and the old man survived year by year through his own methods. Today, the husband and wife have established the kingdom of Adam, and it is also a step by step. It has grown the country to what it is today. It can be said, everything for the husband and wife has already been prepared. Next, as long as the old man is brought back to life, it is enough, and all of this. All that is needed is time, and it is enough to take it slow. Snapped, snapped. Eve left the basement and walked to the top of the king's tower step by step. She squinted her eyes and whispered, Edward Allen, this man. It is definitely a huge danger. He has the power of a soul. What exactly is this man's ability? Of course, Eve is very clear that she can't take action on Alan, and whether Alan is strong or not is a question. But Alan's identity is very special, he is a member of Rox Pirate, for Rox D. Zebek, this terrifying monster, even Eve, who has lived for a long time, must be vigilant. After all, although Eve's devil fruit can make Eve live longer, but there is absolutely nothing wrong with that, Eve's strength is not strong, or rather, her aptitude is too weak, although she speaks it's been a long time, but in terms of real strength, that's probably what happened. You don't need to admit that qualification is a very important thing. If you don't have enough qualifications, do you want to exert your full strength? That's almost impossible. Even if you live for a long time, then it will have no effect whatsoever. Eve is like this. But, Eve murmured, my concubine can feel that Rock's ambitions are very huge. If Eve knows that when the Rock's pirate is destroyed, then that time is the best time to take action against the Edward brothers, but the strength of the three Edward brothers is not weak, even to say. The strength of the three brothers together is very strong. Eve pondered for a while, and murmured, it seems this matter still needs Adam to use the world government to succeed, otherwise it's a complete waste of time, and it doesn't make any sense at all, Brother Edward. You will never survive. Humph. 35. A cruel light flashed across her eyes. Eve's killing intent is very terrifying. She is a woman, and women are very vengeful in this way. Since you came to the door to ask for trouble, don't blame me for being rude. Although it is said that the loss of a precious tree Adam is nothing, but this hatred. It will not end like this. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. Second update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 99. Alan, an immortal who wants to live. Cough, cough, cough. The boatman coughed weakly, raised his head, looked into the distance, and murmured, Mr. Allen, you don't know when you can bring back the treasure tree Adam. Old man, my body can't last long. He. It's really ironic. Clearly. I have seen the opportunity to build the most outstanding pirate ship in my life, and the result. I can't bear it because of my body. He let out a groan. The boatman's condition is not bad, his body is actually very good after the treatment of the horse charm, but the lifespan of a person does not mean that you are in good health or there is no problem. Some old people are in their 70s and 80s, and they hang and beat young people every day, but one day they suddenly disappear. This means that their lifespan has reached the limit, and the same is true of the boatman's body. His lifespan has also reached the limit, and he is relying on himself. Will, so to speak. His will insists on keeping him alive. As long as the pirate ship is not finished, the boatman can live. But if it keeps procrastinating like this, the boatman will not be able to hold on. Sighing silently, the boatman suddenly realized that a huge figure in the distance was galloping fast. He narrowed his eyes and murmured, Treasure tree Adam. He suddenly widened his eyes, looked at the beautiful giant tree, and instantly understood, what exactly is this? Isn't this the treasure tree Adam? It's not the branches of the treasure tree Adam circulating in the black market, but the real whole treasure tree Adam. Search came at a very fast speed. Alan just controlled the treasure tree Adam to float in the air, pointed to the treasure tree Adam and said, How is it? There is no problem. No problem. The boatman looked at the treasure tree Adam deeply, and he said excitedly, Mr. Allen, 4 years. 4 years. These 4 years are enough, and in just 4 years, I can build the world's most beautiful a good pirate ship. Even Boatman Tom will not surpass this pirate ship. Great. He let out a crazy loud laugh, and even said, the originally pale complexion became ruddy, because he saw hope again. The boatman immediately greeted people and started to get busy. With the help of Alan, put the treasure tree Adam was in control, and immediately began to sculpt and transform in all aspects. After all, without Alan's help, treasure tree Adam would be too large, and most of them would not be able to hold 877. After handing the treasure tree Adam to the boatman, Alan also walked aside and casually looked at everything in the distance, but at this time, a fat kid came over, he looked at Alan, and said obediently, Uncle. No. Alan looked at the kid and greeted with a smile, Bramank. Edward Bramank. The 4-year-old little fat man is Newgate's 10th adopted son. This is also what Alan promised the boatman, he will build the most perfect pirate ship for himself, and he will also help his son have a better future. Alan asked casually, Bramank, why did you come here if you didn't go to training? He operator. Bramank scratched his head and said, Uncle, I'm learning the technique of forging with my father, and my father said it. In the future, this pirate ship needs a boatman, and I can definitely become the best boatmaker. Is that so? Alan looked at Bramank, and after thinking for a while, threw a devil fruit to Bramank and said, This is called devil fruit, eat it, you can have a special power, go. Take your time, learn slowly. Throwing the pocket fruit to Bramank, Alan just left. This devil fruit was originally the devil fruit that belonged to Bramank, and now it is the most suitable for Bramank to eat it again. After everything is arranged, Alan, Newgate, Kaido, the three brothers also returned to the original island again. Neil was sorting all kinds of things and teaching these children. The three brothers were not in a hurry to leave this time. After all, there is nothing major, just come back, so just rest for a few days. Gudong. Newgate drank heavily and said carelessly, Brother, what is going on in Adam Kingdom? What's the situation? Why is the treasure tree Adam handed over to us like this? Yes. 39. Kaido also nodded and asked very strangely, Big brother, what is the situation? Alan rubbed his chin and thought about it. How do you actually say this? An old guy who wants to live, so he created the kingdom of Adam, and now he is researching how to live. It's probably like this. 5. Through the divine power of the sheep talisman, others can't see it, but Alan sees it clearly. He even knows what is going on in Adam's kingdom. What's the situation? Newgate and Kaido are both very curious, Bagley, Tiger, Guion, Marco, Joes and more. These little guys came over one by one, some sat down, some stood, all in all of them were as curious as listening to a story. Alan explained indifferently. In the depths of Adam's kingdom, there is the breath of a soul. That soul is actually very young. But, very strangely, his body has reached its limit. Let's put it another way. The human soul and body are separate. When the body reaches the limit of death, it will die naturally, and the soul will also dissipate, and this old guy's soul maintains its peak state. But, his body is already corrupt. Explain more clearly, his body is maintaining life in a special way, just like a boatman. His life has reached its limit, and his body has died, just. His will is strong enough, so let him live longer. It's like some people, who are already dead, can act more. 35. Oh, that's it. Everyone nodded. Guion asked curiously, Dad, if you say that, does the other party want to be resurrected? Alan nodded and said, yes. This old guy wants to replace his body. His devil fruit is a soul-type devil fruit, although he can maintain his own soul, but you also know this, the soul of the human body. Not so easy to maintain, and the soul and the different body are repelled, and if it is not the body of its own, the soul enters it and may be destroyed. So, this old guy built the kingdom of Adam and cultivated each body, and these bodies are not perfect, or not really perfect. As for the current Adam, I don't know, it should be perfect, but this old guy chose to trade with me, let me give up talking about these things, chose to use the treasure tree Adam to seal up, gave me a treasure tree Adam, and let me say nothing. It's okay anyway. After all, if you really fight within Adam Kingdom, that old guy's strength is extremely strong. There was a sharp light in his eyes. Alan's eyes were very solemn, and he could clearly feel that the strength of that old guy was definitely the level of Captain Rock's, and don't forget, the ability of the soul type is compared to that of Captain Rock's. Ordinary powerhouses are even more outrageous, after all. These soul-playing people, you know what kind of tricks they will come up with. Tiger thought about it and said, Uncle, this is equivalent to seeking skin with a tiger, right? Alan nodded and said, if nothing else happens, wait until this old guy is completely revived, then. At that time, the first goal is to kill us, which is not a strange thing. Alan is very calm, he seems to be a deal, but in fact it is the other party's retreat and deal. But also, as the old guy knows, Alan is not a person who goes back on his word, since I promise you, no matter what for some reason, since the transaction has continued, then, naturally, the transaction will not end, there is no doubt about this. Everyone nodded. Obviously, I didn't think about this situation, but, although I think it's quite different, everyone knows that there is still time, and as long as you can become stronger in the shortest time, AGFJ, too. For a while, each of them is full of energy. Newgate said interestingly, brother, did you do it on purpose? If I guessed correctly, that old guy will need at least 10 years to be resurrected in 20 years. The corners of Alan's mouth twitched and said, just to stimulate these little devils. That old guy wants to be resurrected, and it is impossible for him to be resurrected for 30 or 50 years. His soul is very perfect, but, you know, even if it is a perfect body cannot be integrated into it all at once, the strength of the soul is not equal to the body, it is unrealistic. As the bearer of the sheep talisman, Alan knows very well what will happen if a god's soul enters the human body, it is self-evident. That body will explode directly. This is the case with this old guy. Through his fruit ability, he has devoured many souls for so many years, keeping his soul in the most perfect state. It is precisely because of this. In this case, a body still needs to be strong enough, otherwise. Even the soul cannot hold it. Even Adam is the most perfect body, but how long does it take to increase his strength crazily? 30 years. 50 years. Who knows how long? Strength. Not to mention, although they are all puppets created by the old guys, as long as their strength gradually increases, their souls will also increase, and at that time. Alan grinned and said interestingly, aren't things just getting more and more interesting? But, it doesn't matter, it's just to stimulate these little guys and make them work harder. 35. Goo la la la, worororo. Kaido also burst out laughing and said jokingly, big brother. You are really not a good person. Alan shrugged and didn't care about such a statement, anyway, he was not a good person. This method, to stimulate these little guys a little, is also the most appropriate. Wow. As the waves churned and the pirate ship was gradually moving into the distance, Alan said strangely, Bagley, what's the situation? 35. The next day, Alan hadn't woken up yet, but Captain Rocks received a message saying that there was something important, and all the Edward brothers should go back. This is a very outrageous thing, and I didn't care about it. Result, Captain Rocks, this time it seems that there is really a very important matter, but he was called back in a hurry, this is not the way back again. I do not know. Bagley also shook his head and said, Uncle, I'm not particularly clear about the specific situation, but the phone call sent by Captain Rox meant that we should rush back in the shortest time. Okay, I see. Alan waved his hand, but he is not in a hurry. If he is really in a hurry, he can go back in 3 or 2 minutes at most according to his ability. Just kidding. The combination of the power of the chicken charm and the rabbit charm is not flying, that is super terrifying, rapid and elegant, it is just like the power of instant movement. Bagley continued to work, while Alan rubbed his chin strangely and said, It's really strange. Captain Rox, what are you trying to do? 39. Seriously. Alan counted the time. Normally, it should be 4 years before the real Valley of the Gods War begins, and now is not the time. Could it be that because of my problem with the butterfly effect, the Valley of the Gods War started early? Alan pondered this matter, but felt that it didn't matter. Anyway, after so many years at Rox Pirate, he has already made a lot of money. The money that should be earned is already earned, even if it is a war now, it doesn't matter. Thing. Only, Alan always felt that something was not right. What was wrong? 35. It's really weird. Shaking his head, Alan didn't know what was going on. In the end, he threw out these thoughts and said indifferently, Forget it. Soldiers will come to block, water will come to cover up. Anyway, no matter what it is, as long as I have enough strength, it will not be a problem. Snapped. Clenching a fist with one hand, as the master template of the master has been developed to 70%, the master of the 12 spells is completely developed by himself, but the master of the magic of fire is completely different. Compared with the divine power of the 12 spells, in fact, the devilish energy of fire is the most original power belonging to the Holy Master. This is the foundation of the Holy Master's power. Moreover, the more you master the 12 spells, the more you have become found some issues. It can be said without hesitation that there is definitely a huge problem. This is absolutely beyond doubt. Alan didn't care about these situations, but turned his head and looked at Bagley, Tiger, Guion and other little devils in training, and the corner of his mouth evoked a smile, and said interestingly, a group of good little guys. Work hard. Only in this way can you follow Laozi to the top of this world. The top of the world. 35. Newgate walked step by step, stopped beside Alan, and said with emotion, Brother. What is the color of the apex of this world? Alan shrugged. Who knows? The apex of the world must be very interesting. However, one day, we will step on this apex. Snapped. Kaido walked step by step and said seriously, Big brother. Second brother. Isn't this a matter of course? It's just a matter of time when we, brothers, take this group of little guys to the top. Ha ha ha. Goo la la la. The two brothers couldn't help laughing when they listened to what the third child said. Yes, their goal has never changed, that is the top point. As long as they set foot on the top point, everything is meaningless. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. Third update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 100. The selection of the team captain. A coin game. Halala. Wow. With the waves rolling, the pirate ship has gradually returned, the Black Pearl. This is the pirate ship of the Rox Pirate, and the core of the entire Rox Pirate, right now. The Black Pearl sails on the sea, except for Edward. In addition to the three brothers, other pirate ships also returned one by one. Shiki, Barorik, Linlin, Akoku, John, Silver Axe. As well as the other captains and the captains of other powerful affiliated pirates, all of them have returned, although everyone does not know what happened, but when they returned, they saw everyone. It's all here. In fact, I already know it. This time, it must be very interesting. It's interesting. Woo. A wisp of blue smoke spit out. Alan's expression was very calm, and he swept around indifferently, with an interesting smile on the corner of his mouth. Everyone came back. Sure enough, it seems that this time Captain Rox really, yes, very interesting. More than that, to know. The last time the Rox Pirate gathered like this was when they attacked the naval headquarters, and what did they want to do this time? This is the most interesting thing. Actually, this time, not only the Rox Pirate, but also naval headquarters are all ready immediately. After all, these monsters are gathered together, who knows what they want to do. The power of these monsters is very terrifying. The most important thing is that the guys at Rox Pirate are all terrifying lunatics, and what exactly these lunatics want to do is the most terrifying thing. No one knows what these lunatics will do next. What a terrible thing happened. What? Do you think it is impossible? Hee. Before the Rox Pirate operation, no one thought that these lunatics would dare to attack naval headquarters. As a result, they not only swept the 5 marine branches of New World, but also swept the naval headquarters directly and defeated them. Now, forcing Marshal Marine to admit defeat. This is something that no one thought of. People really did it. So, naval headquarters really dare not be careless. Who knows how terrifying these guys are? Next, what will they do? What kind of thing to come? Alan. Balorik looked at Alan and said calmly, I haven't played against you for a long time. I want to try to play against you. How strong is your strength? Sure, Alan said without refusing to come. I don't care, it's just right. I'm also very curious, Baloric, to what extent your strength has improved. Humph. The two looked at each other, and a smile appeared on the corners of their mouths. At the beginning of the battle on Bat Island, the two did not decide the winner. Because of the arrival of Captain Rox, the battle came to an abrupt end. Because of this, although the two have not decided the winner, they have been thinking about this matter all the time. The two want to decide the winner, and they want to see how the other's strength is, and after so many years. Both of them felt that the time was almost there, so. Let's end the battle of the year. Woo. With a puff of smoke, Alan looked at Silver Axe and said interestingly, Silver Axe. You rubbish, are you still alive? Humph. 35. When Silver Axe heard this, his teeth were really itchy, but. After all these years, Silver Axe has long been used to this guy Alan, to be honest. As long as there is a chance, Silver Axe really wanted to kill this guy Alan. Silver Axe has not found a chance for so many years. The strength of the three Edward brothers has grown too fiercely. Even reaching it, Silver Axe has a very helpless feeling, and he doesn't know how to take revenge. The devil fruit I was looking for was also not found. If found, there is still hope for revenge. For now, Silver Axe is trying to avoid saying hello to Alan anyway, so I can't provoke you or can I hide? Wait until I find a chance. You see I will kill you directly. Anyway, Silver Axe is ready, the gentleman will take revenge, it's not too late. Lao Su is not a gentleman, but Lao Su is a villain. 20 years for Lao Su. 30 years. Even 40 years, when the time comes. When Lao Su finds a chance, you can see if Lao Su kills you or not. That's what Silver Axe thinks, and it's not surprising that a guy like Silver Axe thinks that way. Gia ha 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 ha. Shiki slowly floated down along with this hideous laughter, dressed in a kimono, with long golden hair flying, Shiki at this moment. The whole person exudes a full hockey feeling, that feeling, gives the feeling of a nouveau riche. Don't say anything else. The growth of Shiki's power over the years is very terrifying, after all. Compared with other people, he has too many conditions to choose his own people, but Shiki doesn't care. Shiki is open to all who come, and this is a result, the speed of strength growth is very fast. The downside is that, just like Rock's pirate at this moment, although it seems to be very united, it actually has huge problems, which is the fundamental reason why Alan did not choose to conquer Kaido, but chose to use family affection. To make Kaido his third brother, the idea proved to be successful. And the strength of Shiki's formation, the result is needless to say, as long as Shiki is strong, naturally nothing can be seen. But when Shiki's strength becomes weak, then, the problem appears. You see, when Shiki was arrested and went into Impel Down, did those people have any idea? Not at all. That's right. That's how they are. There is no friendship or loyalty at all, and you see, watching the Whitebeard Pirates is because of an ace, everyone is willing to work hard. This is the fundamental reason, different pirate groups. The strengths they exert are completely different things, and it is even said that there will be huge problems. Seriously. Over time, the guys at Rock's Pirate, one by one, started to have their own ideas. The three Edward brothers, Alan, Newgate, and Kaido, have adopted sons everywhere. It turns out it is. Although it is said to be the adopted son of a total of 700 people, they are all outstanding in terms of aptitude, and they can grow up with time. Others include Gion, Marco, Tiger, Yoja, Beasta, Brahmank, Jinbei, Bagley, Namur, Aruan, Karma. A total of 11 little devils with names and surnames. In the future, just these little devils, grow up well, at least not at the level of Naval Headquarters Vice Admiral. Gion, Marco, Tiger, Headquarters level. As for the types of Joes, Beasta, and Jinbei, Alan has to hone them. It is estimated that they are all at the Admiral level, so say. Although it looks young, it is in terms of aptitude and future growth. There is absolutely no doubt about the subordinates of the three Edward brothers. As for Baloric, Baloric doesn't care about this at all, he is a lonely family, only a home like Bat Island and his own maid. Needless to say, Shiki has already gathered more than 10 or 20,000 people, and there are many kinds of monsters, which is a pity. Although the number is very large, but loyalty. This is a big problem at all, even saying, a loyal person is nothing. Besides, the last question is Linlin. Linlin was born every day, and people depended on family blood to continue. Linlin was not qualified to compete in the era of Roger, Newgate, and Kaido, but Linlin was busy giving birth to children at that time. As for the last three people, Akoku, John, and Silver Axe, the three formed an alliance and jointly formed their own forces, mainly. The strength of these three people is really too weak, basically belonging to the weakest level. Especially with age, this gap is really very obvious. The result is of course needless to say, since there is a gap, then it must be reported to the group to warm up. This is the current situation of Rock's Pirate. As for the other so-called lunatics, the so-called captains of the so-called affiliated pirates. Those things are not worth mentioning at all. With the destruction of Rock's Pirate, such things are easy to be will be dealt with. Oh ha ha ha. At this moment, with the ferocious laughter, Rox came out of the cabin, the corners of his mouth grinned, and he said ferociously, "Little brats. Are you all back?" Everyone didn't answer, and Rox continued cruelly, "If it doesn't come back, then there's no need to come back. Everyone's used to it, and that's the horror and cruelty of Rox Pirate. For these guys, they're just so cruel. If you don't come back, then you'll never need to come back." Alan has a face full of indifference, to be precise. Everyone has a face full of indifference, for this kind of situation has long been used to it, after all. It has been basically like this all the time, naturally. Habit, that is, it doesn't matter anymore. Woo. A wisp of blue smoke blew out, and Alan leaned against the pillar beside him with a casual expression on his face. No matter what the reason was, it didn't matter anyway. Rox swept over everyone one by one, and said with a grin on the corner of his mouth, "Rox Pirate has always had no position except for the captain, Laozi, and today I'm here to stipulate. The deputy captain and 10 cadres. 39. In an instant, the atmosphere has changed completely. Everyone's eyes have become sharp. Although Rox Pirate's treasure has always been basically held by himself, but many times, it still has to be given to the top, that is, to the hands of Captain Rox. 0. Especially the protection fees are all given to the Rox, but now they have to choose a cadre. Do you mean? For a while, everyone is starting to get excited. Oh ha ha ha. Rox laughed proudly and said, "It's very simple. Every year, the deputy captain takes 30% of all the protection fees, while the 10 cadres get 20%, and the remaining 50% goes to Laozi. Anyone have an opinion?" 66.99. Many people are swallowing their saliva excitedly. 30%. 20%. What a terrifying treasure of gold and silver. This is simply a crazy wealth. After everything is ready, they all want to get the position of this cadre. Oh ha ha ha. Seeing everyone getting excited, Rox laughed loudly and said, "Very good. Boys, if this is the case, I'll stop talking nonsense." Everyone agrees, then. That's how it's set. So, Alan said casually, "Captain Rox, how do you set the rules?" Oh ha ha ha. Rox laughed excitedly. "Of course it's very simple. Grab the coins." 39. Rox opened one hand, and a gold coin was in the palm of his hand, and said interestingly, "The person who grabbed this gold coin is the deputy captain, and there are 10 silver coins, and the person who grabs it is the cadre. As for the rest, the 100 copper coins of the 100 copper coins, whoever grabs it, all future profits do not need to be handed in. Everything you get is yours." 95. For a while, everyone is starting to get excited, and everyone is excited to look at Captain Rox, joking. If it succeeds, how terrifying will the income at Rox Pirate be? They are all very excited. No joke, as long as it succeeds. Then the future income is a very terrifying income. Search, licking the corners of his mouth excitedly, although he said, "For Rox Pirate, as long as someone can kill you, then it can be replaced, but for Rox Pirate, cadres cannot kill each other, at most challenge, then I lose, at most I just don't do it, I won't die, right? So, this is a decent no-loss deal. Hee hee." Alan grinned and said with a funny smile, "Captain Rox. It's really simple and clear, but it's very interesting. So, where is the location? What about this gold, silver, and copper coins?" Sorry. To be honest, Alan is really not particularly interested, after all. For me, this thing is actually more or less the same for me. You say very much importance. In fact, it's really not that important. Alan is not short of money, but he definitely doesn't care if he has more money, not to mention. The 3 Edward brothers will definitely need a lot of money to form their own pirate group in the future. Pirate got it, of course it was the best thing. On the island not far away. It's a simple battle, everyone can participate in it, but if you die accidentally, then I don't care. In other words, this selection is going to kill people. Oh ha ha ha. Rock's madness and ferociousness are vividly displayed at this moment, instantly. Everyone's faces become terrifying and ferocious, and everyone's eyes are very sharp, just kidding. Although it is said that it will die, but Rock's pirate, the most indispensable is the lunatic, and these lunatics do not care about death. Ha ha ha, it's really interesting. Alan turned his head, looked at Silver Axe interestingly, and said bluntly, "Captain Rox. If I kill this guy Silver Axe, is it okay?" 35. Rox didn't care at all and said, "I have already said that in this selection, anyone who dies is dead, but if you admit defeat, the opponent will withdraw from the battlefield, so that's it." Search. Alan grinned and said interestingly, "No problem. No problem. Silver Axe. Now it's your turn. If you just surrender like this, it will be a good thing, right? I can consider letting you go. Kneel down and kowtow 3 times to Laozi, then Laozi will give you 1 silver coin." 66.99. Silver Axe's anger was burning, but he still remained silent, maintaining an indifferent calm, he knew. Don't be swept away by anger. Ha ha ha. Alan laughed wildly. P.S. 5,000-word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 4th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 101. Begin. Alan is 1 against 3. Big brother. Big brother. Newgate and Kaido both came over and said curiously, brother. You said, what is Captain Rox trying to do? Why did he suddenly start selecting cadres? What does this mean? Looking at these two guys, Alan directly pushed the stooped guy away, and said boredly, you two, shut up for me, I don't know such a thing. Seriously. In terms of height, Newgate and Kaido are taller than each other. Newgate is now 32 years old. In terms of height, he has reached a height of 666 cm and a height of more than 6 meters. As for Kaido, this brat also has a higher height than Newgate, that is, a height of 710 centimeters. The height is very terrifying, to be honest. Alan just thinks it is outrageous, and his height is only about 2 meters 1 or 2. This height is already very high. Result. These two guys, one is taller than the other. Alan is really too lazy to talk nonsense. Some people may not think there is anything, but to put it another way. One floor is almost 2 meters high. In other words, Alan, and the difference between my two younger brothers is almost 2 floors to 3 floors, of course. This is just a statement. In fact, all these things are indifferent, and everyone just doesn't care. Woo. A wisp of green smoke was exhaled, and Alan continued, although the specific situation is unclear, but a little guess is also known. Captain Rox probably wants to do something big, actually. Now for Rox Pirate, there is almost nothing to stimulate the Rox Pirate to become stronger, and cadres are almost the best way. Listening to the elder brother's explanation, the two brothers also nodded. It turned out to be like this. As for right, just kidding. The elder brother said so basically it must be correct. Brother Chi's statement in these situations are very understandable and clear. Alan shook his head, not paying too much attention to these two guys, but looked into the distance and squinted his eyes slightly, if you count the time. There are still 4 years left. Captain Rox Pirate, everything will come to an end. Now. Shake your head. Alan is too lazy to think about these things. These things are about to pass away. No matter how you describe them, you must admit that a new era is coming, whether you admit it or not. It's all good. Because everything is already in sight. This is absolutely beyond doubt. Woo. Alan spit out a wisp of green smoke and quietly looked into the distance, while a large number of pirate ships were heading for an isolated island, and a gold coin, 10 silver coins, and 100 copper coins were prepared on this isolated island. Everything is ready. In this case, everything. It has become completely different. Rox Pirate will usher in the final and huge change, just such a result, but there is no anything of any meaning. Shaking his head silently, Alan looked into the distance, his expression full of calmness and indifference. This crazy monster, very few are not so crazy, but full of calmness. Wow. One after another pirate ships gradually docked, and this isolated island had already prepared everything. Oh ha ha ha, Rox said fiercely. Little brats. Everything is ready in front of your eyes. Next, everything is about to start. Let me see who your final winner is. Oh, correct. Rox grinned and said cruelly. I prepared a devil fruit for the vice captain. This devil fruit is definitely a top-notch devil fruit, little brats. I believe you will be very interested. Oh ha ha ha, everything. Here we go. With the sound of rocks, and a large number of pirates accompanied by roars, they jumped directly into the isolated island in front of them, and the real powerful ones, whether they are captains, elites or guys like Alan, everyone is waiting for something. Bastard. 99. That's the copper coin that Laozi saw first. 55. You are courting death. 35. Believe it or not, I killed you. Ha ha ha, I actually found a silver coin. Sure enough. 35. The position of a cadre is none other than Laozi. That belongs to Laozi. Court death. As predicted. In just an instant, a large number of pirates immediately fought wildly. They didn't care about everything else. All they had to do was to fight frantically, to completely kill their opponents. As long as they got what they wanted, everything is enough. Unfortunately, these guys are nothing but ants, and these things are destined not to fall into their hands, after all. After so many years of development, the number of Rox Pirate has now reached a terrifying 300,000 to 400,000 people. 80% of the world's pirates have joined the Rox Pirate. Not only that. There are also a lot of pirates from the world and the Grand Line, and they are also a member of the Rox Pirate. This is the most terrifying thing. It can be said. Now anyone with a discerning eye can see that Rox Pirate is like a dynamite barrel. Because of the existence of rocks, this dynamite barrel has always been very stable. 18. But, as long as there is any problem with the monster rocks. In fact, it is self-evident. But as long as there is a little problem with this monster, even if it is only a little problem, then the result is self-evident thing. This terrifying explosive barrel will explode in an instant, and at that time, everything will be different, and the whole world may be completely subverted, and at that moment. All of these. But it has become more interesting. Humph. All of them are watching the battlefield with interest. They are all captains of affiliated pirates, are powerful elites, but now, these people are indifferently joining the battlefield one by one. These rubbish, dare to touch Laozi's things. It's just looking for death. Kill the rubbish. 39. Humph. As they joined the battlefield, the entire battlefield became even more terrifying. But these truly terrifying monsters are still not moving. Alan, Newgate, Baroric, Shiki, Linlin, Akoku, John, Silver Axe, Kaido, 9 people. The strength of these 9 people is beyond doubt matter. These 9 people were all motionless, as if they were quietly watching everything in front of them. Their expressions were very indifferent. The killing had already begun. For them, there was no need to rush. Captain Rox did not say what was the final victory. Bye. Actually, very simple. When you can live to bring out that coin that belongs to you, then the result is beyond doubt. You have already succeeded, and if you die on this island, and your coins, naturally, will also fall into the hands of other people. So, there is no need for more ideas, it is a meaningless thing. Instead of thinking about so much nonsense, it is actually a meaningless thing, just take a good look and you will know. In front of you. Woo. A wisp of green smoke was exhaled, and Alan said casually, "Second son, are you interested in silver coins?" Kaido rubbed his chin, carrying a mace and said, "Big brother. In theory, according to my strength, it shouldn't be a problem to get a silver coin, after all. The number of silver coins is 10, and if you are a cadre, no problem." Quote. Alan also nodded and said, "That's good, get as many silver coins as possible. I want to see what happens if you get enough points." 99. No problem. Kaido immediately understood what he meant, just kidding. His own Edward family has a big business. Of course, more money is needed, and now the money is in sight. Do I need to say more? In fact, it is self-evident, such a good opportunity, so much money. If you don't get it, it will be the strangest thing. Ooh, Newgate laughed and said, "Big brother. Third child. Don't think too much, just join in, I've been impatiently waiting." Ha ha ha, Worororo. Brothers Alan and Kaido laughed, and terrifying killing intent appeared in their eyes, and the two brothers naturally agreed with this statement. Let's go. 35. What? The 3 brothers Alan, Newgate, and Kaido all jumped down and stepped into the island very slowly. As the 3 brothers entered the island, Shiki looked at the others and floated up. Along with the laughter of, "Gia ha 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 ha," he also entered the island. On the other side, Akoku, John, and Silver Axe looked at each other and jumped down into the isolated island. Linlin and Long Bread also entered it together. As for the last remaining Baroric, he was not special to these. He cared about it, but after taking a look, he also headed for the depths of the lonely island. His goal was only one person, and that was Alan. It's time to continue the battle of the year, let's take a look. What is the result of the battle, and this is the most exciting and interesting thing. As these monsters joined the battlefield one by one, in fact, the result is self-evident. Those pirates are not opponents of these monsters at all, and their strength is not at the same level. Silver coins. Alan looked at the silver coin in front of him, the shock wave burst out in his eyes, the pirate in front of him was instantly penetrated, or even shattered directly, while the silver coin floated in the air and landed in his hand. Just glanced at it, Alan continued walking towards the other side. Same. Gia ha 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 ha. Shiki said cruelly, accompanied by horrific laughter, "2 guys. This silver coin should belong to Laozi, right? Quote exclamation mark quote quote. Yes. 35. The 2 pirates respectfully placed the silver coins on the ground, and then cautiously retreated to one side. They all felt endless fear, and hurriedly woke up and retreated, shivering, just kidding. To provoke this terrifying golden lion. It is the act of death. Empty shock. As soon as Newgate fell, the pirates in front of him were instantly smashed, and with the death of these pirates, the concealment was very indifferently avoided, and it fell into Newgate's hands. Newgate picked up the concealment and continued to go to the other side of the island. Same. Akoku, John, Silver Axe. The 3 people also got a silver coin each, and at the same time. Linlin, Long Bread, Kaido, and Baroric also got a silver coin. In the short period of time these people joined the battlefield, 10 silver coins each had their own masters. Alan, Newgate, Baroric, Shiki, Linlin, Akoku, John, Silver Axe, Kaido, and Baguette, exactly 10 people, have got all 10 silver coins, and now. The battle is not over, on the contrary, everything is just the beginning. Because you get silver coins, it does not mean that the final result is doomed, and this. Everything is just the beginning, although it is in front of you, but everything. It is just the beginning, and what is the result? That's the funniest thing, isn't it? Humph. A cruel smile emerged. Alan walked all the way, and all the pirates he encountered were dealt with, just kidding. Alan has never been a merciful person, please. We are enemies. Since we are enemies, I need to be merciful to you. It's like a joke. Hee hee. Alan walked out of the forest and came to the flat ground in front of him. He stopped like this, glanced around, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth, and said interestingly, "This is a good place, the 3 of you. What a rubbish choice." 35. Snapped. And following Alan's words, Akoku, John, Silver Axe. The 3 people came out gradually, to be honest. Under normal circumstances, these 3 people would never have any idea about Alan, because it doesn't make any sense at all. Not to mention how strong Alan is, just talking about the three Edward brothers joining forces, the strength displayed is a terrifying one, and under such strength, are we looking for trouble? Why do we feel that we are impatient to live, huh? But it's different, this is a very good opportunity. Newgate and Kaido have already fought, and now you, Alan, are only one person. If this is the case, then the three of us, 5.9 people, can just really welcome. Hee hee. With a cruel smile, Silver Axe sneered again and again. Alan. Aren't you very arrogant? What's the matter? Do you feel honest now that you are left alone? What? 55. Alan said very casually. I'm arrogant or not? What does it have to do with you rubbish? Seriously, I don't have any idea of taking action against you three rubbish. If so, you can go far. Consider letting you go. Alan was very disdainful, and he didn't pay attention to these three people at all. Seriously, the strength of these three guys, Akoku, John, and Silver Axe, has really changed over time. When they were all 18 or 19, they didn't really grow up. At that time, strength. The difference is not particularly noticeable. 18. Now it's different. When such a real power gap has appeared, then everything is completely different. It can be said that the gap in the middle is simply a huge difference. Although they are both Emperor's deputy, there is a huge gap in strength between the Emperor's deputy and the Emperor's deputy. Beckman is not the same as other Emperor's deputy, and because of this, in Alan's eyes, these three guys. Anyway, that's what happened. It is undeniable that the three people joining forces are indeed a threat. But if you really say, what level of threat has this reached? This is pure nonsense. Stop making trouble, it was impossible, and because of that, Alan didn't care at all. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 5th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 102. The Devil like Alan. Fighting the three of them alone. The difference in strength. With the growth of time, it will gradually become larger than the gap between the sky and the earth, and this huge gap is the gap caused by strength, and it is also the most important and terrifying gap. No matter what, you must something that must be acknowledged. Snapped. Snapped. As the sound of footsteps gradually entered his ears, Akoku walked over step by step. He stopped at a distance of about 10 meters, slapped his beard, and said casually, seriously. Alan, how terrifying the strength of your guy has become. No one knows. When you and Newgate teamed up with Marine Admiral, they knew that your strength was terrifying enough. So what? Alan lit a cigarette and said very casually, Akoku. What are you going to say? Are you going to stop here, or are you going to keep trying? He. Akoku said lightly. Defeat you, or kill you, this is the best chance. And if you leave Rock's pirate. Akoku coughed slightly and continued. Some things are not so easy to deal with at all. If this is the case, then the result, of course, does not need to be said. Humph. The corners of Alan's mouth twitched, and he said interestingly, Akoku. Sure enough, you guy also saw something. Akoku said very calmly. Seeing these things, it doesn't seem to be difficult, it's easy, after all. Captain Rox has never concealed it. These are not two big problems. Indeed. Alan nodded in agreement. As Akoku said, Captain Rox just treats everyone as a tool. And everyone really doesn't know. No. Captain Rox didn't hide anything, and he didn't hide anything, so he said. No one really doesn't know, just wants to know or not. If you really want to know, then naturally the result does not need to be said, to put it bluntly. Many people really don't want to know about their own thoughts, and it is also an attitude that they don't care at all. Woo. A wisp of green smoke was exhaled, and Alan said casually, forget it. I have no interest in chatting with you, so let's talk. Do you have any ideas for me to see? Otherwise, if it is too boring, it's pretty boring. 06. Humph. A grim smile appeared. Alan threw the cigarette in his hand on the ground, and a funny smile appeared in front of his eyes, but he thought it was very interesting. Now. The battle can begin. How will it be? Actually, how to say? If Alan, Newgate, Baloric, Shiki, Linlin, Kaido are compared to real admirals like Sakazuki, Kuzan, Polsolino, then Akoku, John, Silver Axe. The three of them are also famous big pirates, but in fact, they are compared to alternate admiral like Gion and Cake. Do you say that they have the same strength as admiral? Yes. But, do you say that they have the real equivalent strength to admiral? Actually, they really don't. They have the corresponding strength, but they are not really corresponding. This statement, in fact, it's quite appropriate. Indeed. 35. In that case, earn. The épée that Akoku was carrying slowly drew out, his eyes narrowed slightly. The Captain Wufang didn't hesitate, he said in a low voice, Alan. Next. You're welcome. Bring it on. Alan arched his body slightly, and in an instant, a terrifying breath burst out wildly. Alan was like a terrifying evil spirit, the terrifying conqueror's haki surging frantically, as if to make everything they were all devoured. But at this moment, facing Alan's conqueror's haki, the three of them naturally did not dare to be careless, and at the same time, a terrifying conqueror's haki erupted. It is undeniable that Alan's strength is very strong, and can be suppressed by one enemy three conqueror's haki for 3. Stop it. Although there is a gap, Akoku, John, and Silver Axe have been crazy for so many years. Hard work. Even perverts have improved themselves. They know that they have a gap compared to Alan. In that case, they want to narrow this. If there is a gap, then you must work hard. If you are slack, then everything is meaningless. Because of this, the hard work of the three people have made their strength to a very terrifying improvement. After all, they were originally qualified, but as a pirate, they did not show all their qualifications at all. At this moment it is already completely different, the strength of the three people burst out completely. Snapped. Stepping on the ground with one foot, Akoku instantly turned into an afterimage and disappeared in place. Click, click. The ground collapsed in an instant, spreading out like a spider web. Don't think that Akoku has always been a brainy guy, just think that Akoku is actually like that. What actually? Hehe. Not at all. Akoku's real appearance is not just a person who likes to use his brain. On the contrary, Akoku looks like a real monster, tall. And it looks very scary. This is Akoku looks like. Boom. The sword fell instantly, but facing Akoku's terrifying sword wrapped around armament hockey, Alan did not have any evasion, or in other words. If he had chosen to evade, then Alan would not be Alan. Raising his arm, he blocked Akoku's sword. The powerful armament hockey was attached. The corners of Alan's mouth grinned, and he said grimly, "Hey. Hey, Akoku, is this only the power? It's not enough to see. Not at all. Is it worth mentioning?" Ha ha ha. Akoku smiled indifferently and said, "It's really scary. It's really you. After so many years, Alan, your strength has become really scary enough. Such a terrible power as really can humans have it? Humanity. What?" The corners of Alan's mouth grinned, and he said grimly, "I'm not a human being. According to Marine, I'm called a devil." 99. Dragon Blast. The next moment when he opened his mouth, a monstrous heat wave pierced through, and Akoku had already guessed Alan's attack, and quickly retracted his épée, laying it in front of his eyes, blocking Alan's passing through at this moment. Shock wave. Joke. After so many years, if armament hockey has been weakened to the point that even this is unstoppable, that would be the strangest thing. This is absolutely impossible. Quite the contrary. Not only is Akoku not weakened, but it is with the passage of time, more and more powerful. After so many years, Akoku's strength. But it has been greatly enhanced. Humph. Ha. 99. Alan and Akoku looked at each other, and a smile appeared on the corners of their mouths. Crackling. Extremely fast speed. Amazing collision. The offensive of the two is very terrifying, like two afterimages, the fist and the heavy sword are quickly colliding, of course. Although all this is very long to describe, but in essence, it's all just for a moment. Earn. The captain's knife on John's waist was unsheathed, but he was carefree and said with a drunken look, "Alan. Next, I'll be welcome." Snapped. With one foot on the ground, John's speed is extremely fast. Among the three alliances, Silver Axe is good at taijutsu, while Akoku is good at hockey, but what is John's best at? It makes people feel John is just balanced growth. But the fact is just the opposite. John's strength is not balanced growth, but the coexistence of strength and speed. These 2 points are very terrifying, even reaching a terrible ultimate. Crackling. As John joined the battle, Alan did not continue to be careless. Instead, his expression became sharper and sharper. With 1 against 2, he already felt a huge pressure. Akoku and John joined forces, and the two showed amazing performance. The power, even Alan can't be careless. Roar. Dragon Blast. Electric Eye Burst. 3 shock waves came through at the same time. Akoku and John joined forces to block the 3 shock waves, and then immediately jumped up, while Alan clenched his fists with both hands, while armament hockey covered, not only that, but also used Conqueror's wrapping, after so many years. It would be the strangest thing if you still can't use Conquerors. Akoku and John are also not afraid at all, and they also use Conqueror's entanglement, just kidding. They are also recruited by high-level Conqueror's hockey, if they can't develop even high-level Conqueror's hockey. That's dead. Like observation hockey peeking into the future, Luffy, Katakuri, Kaido too. Will Redhead, will Teach, will Lin, Monster. Gymnastics, hockey, kendo, fruit. Basically, as long as they are used, they will be developed to an astonishing level, after all. If it is not fully developed, then there will be flaws. At this level. Snapped. The 3 men's offensive became more and more terrifying, and everything on the ground and all around was bursting frantically, and even in the entire instant, Silver Axe suddenly seized the opportunity, and a ray of light flashed in his eyes, out of nowhere. Brush. A sharp cold light flashed across, and Silver Axe's attack suddenly fell, it should be said. As a transforming person, Silver Axe's 2 arms were transformed into 2 huge axes, which had already fallen. Boom. A terrifying roar resounded instantly. Akoku, John, and Silver Axe joined forces to besiege Alan from 3 directions at the same time. Under the amazing force, the surrounding area was shattered by the collision of these terrifying hockeys. Small mushroom clouds formed. And all this burst out so fast. In a short period of time, it seems that everything will be destroyed. Boom. Ha! As the roar exploded frantically, and the battle gradually separated, the three of them stepped back, and Alan's figure was in the center of the battlefield, hunched over, with plumes of smoke coming out of his mouth. What? It really makes me feel bad. Slowly raising his head, a terrifying aura burst out from his body. Alan's eyes flashed with terrifying killing intent, and the pair of vertical pupils emitting a red light, like a terrifying evil spirit, seemed to be terrifying. To devour everything. Pooh. Alan spit casually, wiped the bloodline at the corner of his mouth, and said very savagely, Akoku. John. Silver Axe. You three guys, I really have to admit, you three guys have become a lot stronger. Ah, your strength has really been greatly improved. 35. This is not a joke. The last time they fought, my brothers joined forces and completely suppressed the alliance of the three. However, now it is completely different. The strength of these three has been explosively improved. In a one-on-one situation, he is definitely not his opponent, even 1 against 2, he is confident that under the blessing of the horse charm, he can directly kill 1, seriously wound 1, and can 1 against 3. Seriously, if it were back then, Alan would be confident. But now, it is completely different. The 3 guys back then were like 3 trash, but the 3 guys now have amazing strength. Such a terrifying strength, the result. Naturally, there is no doubt about it. It can be said, in so many years, purely from the aspect of strength 880, the strength of these 3 guys has increased. It is really more and more terrifying. Taking a deep breath, Alan's eyes were sharp and said, it's really terrifying power. It seems that everything that follows can't be careless. But, although I have to admit that the 3 of you are the strength is very strong, but want to beat Laozi like this? Stop joking. Wiping the bloodline at the corner of his mouth, Alan's body suddenly burned with a raging scorching flame, and along with this terrifying flame, it burned frantically, just like a terrifying evil spirit, the endless radiance that emanated. The breath is about to devour everything. Boom, boom. It was as if the earth had completely collapsed. In an instant, a terrifying aura enveloped Alan. It was really like an invincible demon god. The monstrous flames entangled Alan, and the next moment, a terrifying aura burst out. Alan turned into an amazing afterimage and went straight to the 3 of them. The speed is too fast. This is the divine power of the rabbit charm, not just the divine power of the rabbit charm, when the divine power of the rabbit charm is combined with the divine power of the cow charm. Speed, strength. The combination of the two is the most terrifying thing. Alan appeared in front of Akoku like an afterimage, clenching a fist with one hand and smashing it down. Bull crash. 5. At the same time, facing John who came straight to him, 3 shock waves fell at the same time. Dragon blast. Electric eye burst. 3 terrifying shock waves exploded in an instant, and John quickly stepped back. He had already noticed how savage Alan was attacking. Taking advantage of this momentary time, Akoku's fist facing Alan not only did not to resist hard, instead, he chose to use the power of this punch to quickly retreat. Boom, boom. In a short period of time, the terrifying power that erupted made Alan show the power like a demon. This terrifying gesture, just displayed in front of him, made people tremble. He. Alan smiled madly like crazy. It's really good. It's getting more and more interesting. Ha ha ha. At this moment, Alan is like crazy, and this terrifying aura is surging wildly, and the scorching flames seem to represent the difference that Alan is showing at this moment. Because of what? Because this man is really too crazy, that terrifying crazy power. The show is absolutely brilliant. Only, in the face of Alan's terrifying and crazy scene, Akoku, John, and Silver Axe seem to have been prepared for a long time, without any fear at all. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 6th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 103. Clearing the battlefield. Only 6 people left. Akoku, John, Silver Axe. The 3 looked at each other calmly. Right now, Alan's posture is like a demon, but anyone who is not an idiot can see that this guy has fallen into a state of complete madness or even madness. Everyone is very clear about this guy Alan. There is a huge problem with Alan's character state. As long as he is completely caught up in the battle, what will the terrifying frenzy state do? In fact, it is self-evident. Because of this is the most terrifying thing. Now Alan, this terrifying posture emerges, and the whole body is burning with terrifying flames. Not only that, the terrifying wisps of aura are madly emerging from Alan's body, making Alan exude even more terrifying power. Crackling. Alan moved his muscles and bones a little, his whole body was like popping beans, and the whole person exuded a terrifying breath, the corners of his mouth grinned, and he said savagely, then. The second round is just beginning, the 3 of you, who are you? Come first. Humph. The 3 of them looked at each other, and the 3 of them showed a fan-shaped posture, as if they were ready to fight. Come. The corners of Alan's mouth grinned, and the whole person looked extremely excited. Only. Next moment, a strange scene appeared. The 3 of them looked at each other and smiled almost at the same time. Holding the silver coins in their hands, they disappeared without a trace in an instant. It disappeared in an instant. F*K. After Alan was stunned for a short time, when he reacted, he was directly swearing, "What the hell? You were the one who besieged Laozi, and you are the one who escaped now. Are you three guys having a problem with your brain? Only. It's just this moment of stun time. Everything is too late, even if the speed of the rabbit charm is so fast, but the three of them are not ordinary people, but powerful powerhouses. Under such circumstances, then, all naturally is needless to say. The three of them have returned to the Black Pearl in almost a split second, this scene. Not to mention Alan, even if it is the other people, who are watching this battle, one counts as one, this is the case. At this moment, it is abnormally ignorant. What the hell is this TM? Shouldn't you all fight to the death? How did the final result become like this? This moment, everyone has a strange feeling. It seems to be a feeling of being fooled, although it feels very strange, but the corners of the mouth twitch, but they don't know what to say, in general. It's really strange, that's it. You three bastards. He. Alan regained his composure, and he immediately understood what was going on with these three guys. Wait, this is your victory today, you wait for the next situation for Laozi. 5. Search. Licking the corner of his mouth slightly, Alan's eyes flashed a very terrifying light, and said interestingly, "Wait." Snapped. At this moment, with the sound of footsteps, Newgate held Kong Yunchi, and Kaido also came to the battlefield with a mace. The two looked at the battlefield in front of them, more or less different. Newgate said strangely, "Big brother. What about those three guys? Didn't the three of them besiege you here? They even found a group of rubbish to try to stop Laozi. It's just beyond your own power." Humph. There was a proud look in his eyes, and for Newgate, it was simply not worth mentioning. It was just what the garbage did, just kidding. Just relying on the garbage to stop yourself. Stop making trouble. It was like a dream. No, it was like a joke. If all that group of rubbish can do it, then I might as well die. Newgate's strength for so many years is like a joke. On the contrary, Kaido said very calmly, "It's just a bunch of rubbish, not worth mentioning opponents, big brother. What's the situation?" 39. What? Alan lit a cigarette, and the whole person was very skilled and said naturally, "These three guys are just disgusting Laozi, it's really a headache. However, it doesn't matter, for these three disgusting guy, next time Laozi is looking for their trouble, until then." 11. Clean up the island. It's really weird, correct? Alan raised his head and asked, "How many Kadri's silver coins did you two guys grab?" Newgate and Kaido looked at each other and said at the same time, "We each grabbed one, and counting the one you grabbed, we will have one for each of us. 1 for 1. 35. 3. Alan squinted his eyes, as if thinking about this amount, and after a while, said casually, "Although it's not too much. But Akoku, Silver Axe, and John have already withdrawn from the battlefield with their silver coins, which is totally meaningless. In that case, Squinting his eyes slightly, Alan said directly, "Let's go. Go and see the silver coins in those guys' hands. Linlin and Longbread are each one, right? Longbread's garbage is also suitable for holding silver coins. Just grab it." 99. No problem. The three brothers are quite calm. This is purely a small problem, isn't it? Just silver coins. It's not worth mentioning. Small problem. You can see if I can get it and it's over. With the departure of the three brothers, and the entire battlefield has also completely fallen into the stage of being cleaned up. Some people's strength is not strong, and their strength is even weak, which is not worth mentioning at all. And such a guy is not at all worth mentioning. Over time, a large number of people have been swept out. Some people are alive, some people are crazy, but no matter what it is, you must admit it. These guys are too weak, and the strength of these guys is simply not worth mentioning. Night is slowly coming. Right now, the people on the entire island have been cleaned up, basically reaching a limit, and as all this has reached the limit, the remaining people on the island. In fact, there are only 6 people left. Cough, cough, cough. Longbread coughed weakly. He was lying on the ground. His face was pale, and Kaido was not far away. The silver coin in Longbread's hand had already fallen into Kaido's hand, obviously. The result is no more words. Things are up. Longbread has been completely defeated by Kaido. Not only defeated, but even the silver coins in his hand have been taken. Worororo. Kaido let out a familiar laugh, but said savagely, "Longbread. You conceded defeat very quickly. But, you should be glad that you conceded defeat, otherwise. I don't think so. Have mercy on you." Cough, cough, cough. Longbread coughed weakly, just glanced at Kaido, and then silently withdrew his gaze. It is meaningless, and it is meaningless to continue to entangle with this guy. Stand up. Longbread has turned around and gradually left, as Captain Rocks said, when someone has already conceded defeat. If you continue to pursue, then it is not a good thing. Because of this, the battlefield at this moment, maintaining a calm silence, makes people feel a very strange feeling. Snapped. And as the Longbread left, not far away, a footstep sounded suddenly, and Kaido turned his head and looked at the pink-haired woman who was walking step by step. Charlotte Linlin. As one of the Rock's pirate people, Linlin's sense of existence seems to be very weak. In fact, it's not the case at all. If it is purely in terms of talent, Linlin is the real monster. It's a pity. Lin really doesn't have one. He fully utilized his talents, but fell into a very strange situation. Have a baby. Build a country. Have a baby. Ali. It can be said that Lin's situation is really very strange, but anyone who knows a little about it will feel very strange. What is this situation? What the hell is going on with you? Whether it is very strange or not, one thing is certain, Lin's talent is really terrifying, whether it is strength, defense, or everything else, Lin is simply too amazing in terms of pure talent. Mom. Following the familiar laughter, Lin walked over step by step, the corners of her mouth grinned, although she said she was very beautiful, but she said in a very ferocious way, Kaido. What? 35. Kaido was full of disdain and said, just such garbage. Isn't it a matter of course that I want to defeat this garbage? Yes. 99. The gun of Elbaf, powerful country. Thunder 8 trigrams. All of a sudden, it was almost the moment when the two of them spoke, and the terror reached the power of ultimate, as if they had devoured everything in an instant. The two shot at the same time, which is different from the love in the original book. The current Kaido is for Lin, but it's purely without any sympathy. Exactly. For Kaido, he is not a person without emotion, even to say. Kaido's emotions can be said to be very rich, it can be said without joking. Kaido's character has always been like this, for Kaido in terms of. He is a person who keeps his promises, and also a person who remembers his kindness. So many years have passed. During these 13 years, Kaido did not simply rely on the Edward brothers, but he really treats his eldest brother and second brother as his own brother, and that's why. Kaido can be said to have lost his ambitions, but Kaido has his own home. For Kaido, he just doesn't take it all seriously, or even says. For Kaido, it's not at all. It's worth mentioning. The fight between the two also ignited all the wars in an instant. Boom. With this deafening and terrifying roar resounding, as if the sky and the earth were torn apart in an instant, all this happened too fast, and it also happened too terrifyingly. Snapped. Listening to the roaring sound in his ears, Newgate said casually, 66. It seems that the third child has already met that crazy woman Lin. But it doesn't matter, it's not a big deal anyway. Quote. For Kaido's strength. Newgate is still very recognized, it is undeniable. Kaido is actually a little transparent in Rock's Pirate in the original book, after all. 15 years old is to join Rock's Pirate as a trainee pirate, and count the time. There are still a few years left, it's time to start the Valley of the Gods War. For Kaido, even if the strength is improved, it can't be improved to what level, especially the green dragon fruit, which was handed over to Kaido after the end of the Valley of the Gods War. Therefore, after the dissolution of Rock's Pirate, Kaido's strength has ushered in a huge increase. This is the increase of Kaido's strength, but the problem is. The current Kaido is not the original Kaido. The current Kaido was considered his third brother by the brothers Allen and Newgate at the age of 4, and his strength has also been greatly improved. It can be said that he is completely a monster like a guy. After eating the green dragon fruit and learning the high-level Conqueror's Haki, and many other skills, Allen has never been able to control it, and all he can teach is direct teaching, not to mention. Under the power of the horse charm, no matter how terrifying the training Kaido is, he will not leave any dark wounds on his body. It can be said, the strength of Newgate and Kaido is stronger than other times, and the most fundamental reason is actually here. This is the most terrifying and the most fundamental reason, after all. When a person develops ahead of time, then the strength will be very terrifyingly improved. Therefore, it can be said without hesitation that Kaido's strength is indeed slightly different from Lin's, probably. But, this gap will definitely not be big, it is even said that it is simply a gap that is not worth mentioning. Newgate, who was smoking a cigar, looked at the person in front of him, opened his mouth, and said interestingly, Old Lion. You guy, it's the last person who has come to see money come. Gia ha. With the familiar laughter, Shiki's figure appeared, the corners of his mouth grinned, and he said grimly, please. Don't look down on Laozi. Laozi is a golden lion. However, this island, now you guys the three brothers are all left. What? Newgate also grinned and said very confidently, isn't this a matter of course? The strength of our three brothers is already the strongest in Rock's Pirate. This is just a matter of course in the end, but you old lion. Don't think so. Are you qualified to fight with Laozi? 35. Try it. 35. Come. Newgate and Shiki both looked at each other, and their eyes gradually became sharper. Speak up. Newgate and Shiki are also old rivals, if Silver Axe is a fun person. Then Shiki is different. Shiki and Newgate's fight, the collision of strength between the two, should be described as a winner. Almost. The difference in strength between the two is very small, even so small that it is not worth mentioning. After all, although Newgate's strength has improved more rapidly, don't forget that Shiki is not an idiot. After watching the three Edward brothers' terrifying strength increase, Shiki is also madly improving his strength. Because of this, the difference in strength between these guys. In fact, it's not that big at all. It's even better to say that it's almost the same. This is the root cause. Newgate and Shaki both looked at each other sharply, and the terrifying aura had burst out from the two of them. That was the tyrannical conqueror's haki had completely emerged, which seemed so terrifying and making people feel to endless fear. This power is too terrifying. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. First update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect.